Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Here we go. Wow. Who's going to get it? He's flying. Crushing here, these two women. Lucy Charles Barkley, the focus in her eyes is unparalleled. He's found the power.
I've got goosebumps. This is the bit that gets me.
He's so happy. Look at him. He's in disbelief.
To the Ironman banners, the red carpet.
They created history today.
Going to be an American record for the fastest Ironman.
But now this man has emerged. Executed the perfect victory.
Good morning and welcome to the 2022 VinFast Ironman World Championship. This, my friends, has been a long 2 days we've waited for this. The body marking show for day 2 at this amazing event. And guess what? Today we showcase the men. After quite a day seeing these women light it up all day long on Thursday, I'm Michael Lovato, joined once again by the incredible Didi Griesbauer, and we are here to showcase the start, the lead-in, the backstage prior to the big event. Didi, this is
With the bikes.
World champion Sebastian Kienle. And Sebastian, amazing to see you. You're the first one down here. And also, it's your last time here in Kona. Explain what that means to you.
It's that race defined my life, for sure. And so it's the end of something really big. I mean, at least when it comes to racing here at the Ironman Hawaii World Championships, and it's also the start of. I would say it's the start of the end and the beginning of something new. Next year will be my last year in the sport, and then we'll see. I would love to be involved in the sport and come back here, but I'm gonna enjoy this one, as it would be my last.
Okay, little Nino, your son's going to be here watching you, which is incredible. Today, in your last race, you've had a great training block. What's it going to take to get back on the podium?
I would say nothing short of a miracle. Probably it's I'm fit and my training has been good in the last 3-4 weeks. That's for sure, but. I think that's just probably not enough to be on the podium here, but you know how it is. I mean, we have so many first-timers here. They are really strong, but this race is a beast, and a lot of people will suffer like they have never been before, and I know what it means. So therefore, experience is probably one really important part of the puzzle today.
Oh, I think he's absolutely right. All right, Sebastian, you have a great day today, mate. We're right behind you. All right, Sebastian Kienle. Last year that we were here, but it wasn't. It was 2 years ago, back in 2019. Oh, actually 3. So Cam Worth, the bike course record holder. What's it like to be back on the island?
Coming down here, the energy. I mean, you wake up at 3:30 and you feel a bit dusty, but then you get down here and you're obviously wide awake. It's like being at Las Vegas in a casino at 3 a.m. It's like they pump extra oxygen into the air here or something. But no, I slept great. Obviously, having the women race on Thursday, watching Chelsea win. But I guess I slept really well knowing that Lucy Charles won't be chasing me down in the swim this year. So that's good.
Too funny. Cameron, it's going to be an interesting dynamic today with the race. You spend the first part of the year racing bikes and then switch, sports, which is incredible. I'm always going to call you as one of the greatest sportsmen of all time. Because you have the ability to do that. Now you switch over in July, August. How's the training gone for triathlon?
Yeah, it's. I've learned that in the last couple of years, one benefit of the pandemic was I had time to sort of figure out the best strategy for Kona, and doing both sports at the highest level, you realise you have to dedicate, yourself to each one. So specifically, sort of spending time on each. So yeah, the first half of the year was spent on the bike, working on the fitness, keeping things ticking over. The last, 8 weeks or so, I've had to, do a more focused effort on Ironman. And, I feel great. My training's been good and really good. And we'll see. It's still a bit of an unknown. I personally don't know where I'll be, but I'm excited to find out.
All right, if it's Cam Worth of the new or the old, we know that he's going to be chasing all day long there, but he'll get to the lead there and he'll do his thing. So, Cam, good luck today, buddy, and have a great day.
Thanks, Wilshie. I appreciate it.
All right, Cam.
Champion.
All right, the moment of truth down here for Christian Blumenfeld. Mate, there's not too much in the sport that you haven't done. Olympic champion, Ironman world champion. You're setting the bar. The benchmark was set. Jan Frodeno, Patrick Langer, but you, Gustav, are taking things to the next level. You're data-driven. It's all about science. How do you feel today?
I'm feeling as ready as you can be, I guess, 5 o'clock in the morning. Just excited to get going and, start the race, really, because then when you're in it, it feels like it just goes naturally, hopefully, and I just hope to have great legs out there, because if not, it's going to be an extremely long day, so you're just crossing the fingers and hoping to be ready.
Yep, open water swim here, very salty conditions, a current that, on the way back, a little bit tougher. Getting out onto the Queen Kaumana Highway, very difficult. It could be raining out at Waikoloa, maybe windy. Do you think about these things, or you're looking at data and your competition?
Well, you have to look at both. Like, we've even been looking through the weather data and putting the bikes put in to see how the weather at different parts of the course. But still, you have to look at your competitors and see where you're exiting the water compared to the front guys and the stronger riders from behind, and really try to use their strength to maximize your chances to win.
All right, you're trying to push the limits of what's humanly possible. You went under 7 hours this year in a team format in an Ironman distance race. What is possible for Christian Blumenfeld? Can he go 4:20 on the bike, 4:15 on the bike? Can he break 2 hours and 40 minutes on the marathon?
We will see. First of all, it's not just about breaking records. First of all, you have to win the race, I think, and then second there is to go faster than has been done before. So 7:51 from 2019, I think it's on the target. But of course, I have to make sure that I'm crossing the finish line first of all.
All right, everything seems to be premeditated. Everything's up here. Christian knows what to do. He's done it before. Pretty much everything in the sport, mate. Have a great race out there today. See you at the finish line.
See ya.
All right.
Different styles, but here is our Greg with
All right, we've
Gustav.
already spoken to Christian Blumenfeld and our training partner right here, Gustav Eden, Ironman 70.3 world champion in Nice. And great to see you here in Kona for the very first time. Are you excited or are you nervous?
Right now, a bit stressed because everything is so different. So I just went through the body marking, and right now I'm feeling I got a bit more control, but I realized this morning that I didn't put my number belt in the run bag. So now I have to get that sorted, but I think it should be okay.
All right, well, let's talk about the main thing here, and that's the race. It's going to be a great day. Lots of new people, right? A lot of experience by Lionel Sanders, Tim O'Donnell, but for yourself, Magnus Ditlev, Christian Blumenfeld, this is a different dynamic.
Yeah, and as we saw in the girls, you can come here as a rookie and win this. So I definitely saw that as a positive for me. I was inspired by Chelsea's performance. That was so incredible. So it's cool to see so many new guys here, and I guess it's a lot of people can take the win. And it's been a long time since been so many actually that have a real chance of taking the victory. So I hope it's going to be an exciting race. I will do my part to make it exciting, and I hope you will do your part as well.
Oh, I'm sure to do my part. Well, man, I'm so excited. There's never been a Scandinavian winner. So, from Sweden, from Norway, from Finland, or, around this area, and Denmark. But today, I think it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. So we have many good athletes here on the start line from the Scandinavian countries, and a lot of them are really good friends of mine. So if it's a Scandinavian winner, I would be extremely happy.
Okay, all right. Go get your race belt, get your number on there. Have a great day, Gustav, and we know that he's going to do just fine.
Ironman World Championship. We welcome them as they come down the steps and into the warm waters of the Pacific Ocean to start the day. Come on, let's give them a huge welcome. Our professional men, here they are.
Here's the story. This is when the nerves have washed off our 2,500 plus competitors and they are ready to go. Stay with me 10 seconds until the cannon fires and these men chase off like a bunch of frenzied sharks in the water. And it is almost go time, folks. We're kicking it off. We're kicking it off live.
There it is. And they're off. This is the first couple of strokes here. You don't think about anything. You're honestly just pushing, trying to find clean water. Go. And you've stopped thinking about every reason why you don't want to be there. And you've started to think about, you start to go tactical over strategic at this point.
Let me ask you this, Andy. In those opening 100 meters, how do you keep yourself from getting lactic? The adrenaline is obviously really, really high. You're jockeying for position. But if you go out too hard, I mean, this is a long day. Can you do damage to yourself in the first 200 meters of this race?
At the professional level, I would say, I would hope that some people do damage because then I would exploit that as an athlete. I would prepare for this and yes and no. Sometimes when you get out to a really good start, you have the ability to buffer and then know that you're in the thick of the moment. And then you basically don't have to swim through and fight through so many people. So it's advantageous to take advantage of the first 2 minutes. And do we know who this is?
This is Sam Laidlow. I think I saw a 15 on that. So Sam Laidlow from France going to the early lead here, and the rest of the athletes giving chase. I see the green. I would say that's Appleton. We do have some color-coded caps that we will share with you throughout the swim.
Sam.
But bib number 15, Sam Laidlow.
There you go, from France. This man, he loves to race from the front. A younger, newer athlete, inexperienced, got right after it at Ironman Texas and set the tone and was able to hold it for a long, long time. This is the exciting thing, and let's just dive into this right away. Our overhead shots. I've got one very distinct pack off to, as you said, the left, and then one very distinct pack on the right. So a betting man says we should be on the left there, Andy?
Well, that's the Laidlow pack.
Right, so that's Laidlow on the left. And so it's his first time here in Hawaii, and he could potentially have some doubts in his mind in terms of the way that the echelons are forming, the one on the right, one on the left. And he could potentially merge with the one on the right just because of, I don't know if I'm in the right spot.
Yep.
I haven't done this swim before. Am I going the right direction? So that, like, you do have some doubt, especially when you're pushing the pace in the front and you've got clean water. You're questioning, are you on the right path?
Well, particularly if he's breathing right, he's seeing this massive pack, because the pack to the right is the larger pack, and so you tend to, laws of numbers, have I done this wrong?
That's Sam's MO, and that's what he'll be trying to do.
Yeah, and so it is come back together, so that gap that was behind Christian is now closed up. Athlete that's surprising to me is we do see Curry still in that group, but he's way further back, and we have heard that he was ill earlier this week, so not bringing his best, but trying as much as he can to, hopefully he's recovered and able to do something out here today, but he's a little bit further back. But Luke, it's pretty much all connected with the first, I'd say, 30 athletes, and then it's starting to open up a little bit, but I do think maybe Cam Wurf is one that's being able to hold on to that. But let's, Potts knows more about the front of this race, so let's go back up to you guys and see what you guys are observing.
Matt, you pointing out what's happening with Christian, super important. When that gap starts to happen, I can tell you exactly what Christian's thinking. And he's thinking, okay, I just need to go faster tempo, faster hands to bridge up the gap. And that kind of, he had to dump a little bit of energy and fuel to do it, but it's he's got the training to back it up. So it's a worthwhile spend for him to stay connected in 8th spot. And then you can see it right around 11th spot. it looks like there's a little bit of a gap that it looks little now, but it will grow.
I was gonna say they're so close, and you almost want to urge them, come on, get up there, guys, but it is just that little crack, and it can get bigger and bigger and bigger. But right now they are holding it. It's about a meter. Will it explode?
Will it explode? Time will tell. But right now, 13 minutes into the race for these professional men, and that means we're only a minute 30 now away from our first age group wave. Dreams will begin, and here we go. Just like that, an air horn perhaps. We saved that cannon only for our pros, but in the mind of the athlete, it's all a cannon. And now, where do you go? Left, right, center. It doesn't matter. This is a churning, burning pit of humanity. And it's great because also this is some of the most beautiful water. We talked about that. Crystal clear, right? 80 degrees, salty. It's a great spot to swim.
Without the wetsuit, that salt water will give you a buoying effect, and it really is. As you watch these athletes walk down the pier steps into the bay, the nerves that are happening. They've chosen to take the step forward as opposed to potentially bail out, which
out the side door.
Yeah, I've wanted to go out the side door plenty of times, but I look at these when you attack this race from the start, you can see the preparation that goes into it. Do you need to take advantage of your strengths? Is that the swim? Is it the bike? Is it the run? And you'll really see, not just on the pro level, but on the age group level as well.
Well, Florian and Garrett coming up on the side there, giving a little help to our leader, Sam Laidlow. Like it or hate it, that's going to happen. Matt's going to tell us what he sees there on the water's edge. Matt, what have you got as this lead change takes place?
Yeah, big move by Florian for sure. Definitely, I don't know if he looked over his shoulder. We missed it, but definitely he can feel maybe that pace isn't quite fast enough as we're getting into some swell now, guys. But Florian goes to the front, and as he does that, there's a gap opening up. One athlete behind Christian Blumenfeld, and then the athlete behind is kind of what Christian did earlier, really doing that double tempo pace to get up and over. And guys, Christian is now, or was, swimming catch up, but now you can see, now that Florian's gone to the front, he's pushing the pace. Gustav is in contact with this front group at this point, as long as that gap doesn't kind of open behind Gustav. Andre Lopes has a gap in front of him, so that there are now definitely 2 to 4 groups. Luke, we've noticed a couple athletes in the back in that blue and orange cap. Tell us what we see kind of in the back of this second group.
Yeah, this is really where it really starts to string out now. The swells are up quite a lot more now. We're more in the open ocean out here, and this is where, the 3 or 4 big distinct groups will now form. And it looks like right here at Andre Lopez, that's really where the biggest gap right now is going to catch some people out. And it looks like Magnus Ditlev and some of these other contenders that were engaged until right now are going to drop off this front pack.
Yeah, and in the back of that group, guys, we did have Ben Hoffman is in the back of what right now is the second group, might end up being the third group, with Magnus Ditliev, 2 athletes in front of him, and those athletes are trying to move up. They realize they're in not a great position, trying to move to the front. But right now, you could tell Florian, who was leading that group that started closer to the pier, he settled in, and now he's pushing the pace in the front of Sam Laidlow. And again, Josh Amberger not ever taken a pull at this point. So, Luke, if you're Josh and you have that strong swim capability, is he just happy to be swimming catch up, and then will he try to maybe push the pace on the way back, or what do you think's in Josh's head right now?
Yeah, well, I think he has the advantage. He's a really strong swimmer, and he's led out here before. I think he's letting these other guys dictate the pace, and we'll see Josh potentially make a move on the return leg. But he's also been here several times before and led the race in the swim, only to fall back in the bike. So maybe he's playing a tactical game.
Welcome back to the VinFast Ironman World Championship, brought to you in part by Roka. Find faster with Roka.
And back to the action here as we get a look at that gorgeous VinFast lead vehicle, just revving the engine, getting ready for our lead swimmers to exit Kailua Bay and get on their bikes. That vehicle will be leading our professional men through the bike course in just a little bit, but not yet. Still about 20 minutes of swimming left to go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, Andy, this is just look at this right here. This scene. Look at all those people that are getting ready to see their favorite athlete scream out. I mean, just real quick, how big is it? How many people do you think are the ones that really light up with the crowd and really love that energy versus the ones that just like to be out in the solitude? What do you think?
Who doesn't like to hear people shouting your name? I think it's an overwhelming majority of people like to have people shouting their name and just cheering them on. It doesn't mean you need to dump a ton of fuel to do it, but it's always invigorating as an athlete, especially if it's coming from someone who is in your crew, who loves you and wants the best for you.
So good. Well, have a look just real quick, Didi, as you talk about this group, just so everyone sees. First place, Florian Angert from Germany, number 5. Sam Laidlow, number 15. Daniel Backegaard, number 14. Then we've got Josh Amberger in there, Christian Blumenfeld, and, of course, rounded out there, Sam Appleton. Didi, you're seeing it.
Well, what I'm noticing as they head back in towards the pier, they made the turn around the turnaround boats. And while they were super strung out, almost looked single file style heading outbound, something about the nature of the currents and the swell, they're getting a little bit bunchier. Yes, we have single file through the lead 4 guys, but if we change our camera angle and look at the back of this lead group, it has really bunched back together, and they are really stuck together. We're going to go down to Matt and see what he's seeing. Matt, what do you got?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, it's definitely starting to spread out a little bit. As you can probably see from those overhead shots, it's kind of 3 big distinct groups and then another couple little groups in the middle there. Sam Laidlow and Florian Angert kind of swapping turns a little bit. Florian is an athlete that keeps looking over his shoulder to try to get people to pull through maybe to see if that gap's opened up, but it hasn't. Luke, you saw their athlete in 5th place, kind of a surprise pushing the pace?
Yeah, absolutely. Christian Blumenfeld, from where he was at the beginning of this swim, he's so comfortable there in 5th place right now, right on Josh Amberger's feet. And then right in behind that, we saw the pace sort of slow just recently, and it's really crushed up that next part of the group. So the Braden Currys, Gustav Edens, T.O., they all sort of got a little bit of a breather there, and now it's condensed again. So where it looked like it was going to split just before the turn is now really sort of come back together. And Braden Curry was another one of those guys who we saw in St. George. He was really up there pushing the pace. This time he was right on the back of the group and very vulnerable to getting dropped, but now he's sitting pretty just right on the back of that group now.
Yeah, and then the kind of big news is we had Lange was actually on this group, and now he's been dropped and is absolutely in no man's land in between these 2 groups. So he's going to end up going back to that group, whether it's on the swim or the bike. Luke, okay, the thing I'm thinking of, 20-ish guys in this group. We saw it on Thursday. I'm thinking penalties early on the bike ride. It's really hard to move around. Tell us about the tactics of when you know it's this big a group that you really are paying attention.
Yeah, I think at this point, I think it's a little too late to be making a move. I can't see anyone really getting away from this group now. I mean, maybe the first 4 here, maybe they might just edge off the front at the end, but all I see there is these guys coming back on at the beginning of the bike. So yeah, it's going to be pretty hectic going out of town. That first town section is pretty renowned for a really high effort for those guys trying to get onto the group, but I think we're going to see 20 guys going onto the Queen K today.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Luke. Yeah, guys, I think it is as it stands. We're just going to see the gaps opening up from this lead group behind. Luke, thank you so much for joining us here on the swim, and we'll try to get you a little bit more later in the day. Where are you going to be watching?
Yeah, I love to go up to the top of Palani. That's a spot where I guess you can just see them twice before they go out of town, see who's made the group and who hasn't. And yeah, I love this stuff. It's like I'm a super fan. I've been doing it since, going to the event since I was 8 years old. So to be here on the sidelines of the Ironman World Championships, this is like a dream come true.
That's a dream come true for a lot of athletes to see what kind of dreams come out of this front group here. Again, it's going to be some pain, the early sections of this bike ride, guys. We're going to get back to the pier and call transition.
Matt Lieto, you're like a dream come true for us here in the studio. So thanks again for those crack updates. Listen, that's big. 20 guys, huge. But then guess what? Patrick Lange all alone, going to get swallowed up probably, if not on the swim, quickly on the bike. He gets absorbed into that. But
so my question, does he surge to make the front group, or does he pause to make the back group? Because there's some cycling powerhouses in
one. It is all forward focus if they're playing the game properly. And I'm going to say, look, that's a long stretch here, and we are just at the course record now. So adios, course record.
Yeah, so if you are a really experienced swimmer and you're really comfortable breathing to both sides, I would actually breathe to the left here. And I would keep the the pier equidistant to me. I would just keep that a constant and really try to just like, okay, relax. And you were asking earlier, Michael, when do you start thinking about T1? This is when I think about it.
Oh, right here.
Right
So
with the tires.
Right at the end. Okay, that's good to know. And I think they are too. You can see, look at this, 2 abreast, 3 abreast, 5 abreast, 6 abreast. You call that too, Andy. They are all on now because they all know that contact and position is everything. As we close this out, Didi, they are all going to try and get, because guess what?
It's a bottleneck. The stairwell itself is a bottleneck with 20 guys. Just that there's going to be take a number and wait to even get up the Roca swim steps to exit the Roca swim course.
And what happens after that? A very key component of transition is find and grab your bike bag, which is color blue. When you do that, you have your gear and can progress. There's no forward progress when you're hunting for it. And if you're in a group of 20, you want to be at the front.
Absolutely. Hunters are definitely happening here. You can see the contact actually in our third row, right in the middle.
Brutal.
You can see how it pinches down. And when it pinches, you get squeezed if you're in the middle. You just don't want to get that. You got to keep your your stroke wide so you don't get kind of pushed under here.
The fans are going nuts, and so are we. We are seconds away from closing out the Roca swim course, and we are going to rush on down to see this. I can't wait. I'm going to watch it here myself. Sam Laylow from France, first out of the
Florian
water.
might have put him at the line there.
But Anger maybe stopping the clock. Then everyone into transition. There is Bakegaard. There is Blumenfeld. There are
Svensson,
our players.
Josh Amberger.
Just saw Gustav Eden come across.
How about that? This group of 20 bringing in all the players, and I guess we had it here. Anger, he did get that top time. Laidlow.
Chartier in there. Gustav Eden.
Bakegaard, Blumenfeld, Chartier, Eden, O'Donnell, Appleton, Curry.
Braden Curry coming over that flu. Looks like he might be good today.
Peterson, Newman, Chevreau from France, Kyle Smith, Amarelli, Lopez, and Castellane. We'll head on down to Matt when he's ready. Give it to us, Matt. Those were the names. What are you seeing?
Yeah, thanks so much, Michael. Hectic as we would expect as those first athletes came out of the water and grabbed their bags. We're right here by the bags. The athletes come out. They've been swimming. They've been lactated and then they try to look for their number and grab it. So we had Sam Appleton ran right past his bag and his number. So he had to go back for a second to get it. But you can see these athletes now running the full length of the pier, and again, total focus. Christian Blumenfeld looked spot on, definitely focused on where he was. Florian Engert had great pace at the front of this group. Second group coming through here. Hemmerich is coming through right behind me. We got Chris Leiferman. Sorry, that is not Chris Leiferman. That is, we got Tim Burkle. We have Bradley Weiss. Here's the group with Lange, Rudy von Berg. We have Maurice Clavel. Yeah, Ditliev is in through here as well. Right behind us, there's Ditliev. We have another few athletes. Hoffman is on there. Hoffman has made it to the back of this group. On the other side, we have Bakegaard has run through. Florian Engert has run through. Braden Curry in the front of this group with Christian Blumenfeld running side by side. There we go. We have, I think I saw T.O. go through there as well. Kyle Smith coming through there. More of our athletes continuing to run through. Some of these athletes have their full helmets on, some do not, but still tons of athletes coming out of the water and through transition. Kind of no man's land here. Took his time through that change, and T.O. is trying to bridge. He knows this is group of 20. You do not want to get left behind when there's a group of 20 off the road. So Tim putting in an effort, burning one of those matches to try to get up to that group. Coming through here to what is going to be our third group. We did see Lange was in no man's land in the middle of that swim, but he got swallowed up by this group, so he's going to have some folks to work with. The athlete really pushing the pace in transition in this second group is Peter Hemmerich. I think maybe he thinks he's going to try to bridge up to this front group. It's going to be a little bit of an ask for him, but he is a super strong athlete, super focused. I've not seen him this comfortable out of a swim at this pace in a long time, and we see Tim Burkle coming through. He's going to be right behind Peter Hemmerich coming through transition here as well. And we have Patrick Lange and Tim Burkle together. So there's a few athletes right there. Maurice Clavel, I believe, coming through there. Also, the big chase group here with Brad Weiss, Ditliev, Hoffman. That's going to be a strong pace early. What's going to be interesting to see if Ditliev is, if he has some company with him as he goes through early sections of the bike. Andreas Dreitz coming through here on his bag on the other side We have Jan van Berkel through here, one of the best runners. David McNamee, he's been third here twice before. So this is one of those small groups that we saw 5 athletes able to work together. Another athlete here coming through. But guys, hectic, absolutely hectic out here. Athletes are getting through, getting out. But again, this pier is one of the iconic parts of this course, but it's also painful because you're like, my bike's over this way. I got to run all the way around this pier to get there. These athletes are using that as a section of this course. It's not swim, bike, and run. It's swim, transition, bike, transition, run, finish. That's how it goes. There you go. We're going to get out on the bike and get more of this early action on the bike ride, guys.
Matt, thank you so much. Always great to hear those names called out. And I'll give you this because you may not have seen the split. About 1:26 from the front of Group 1 to the front of Group 2 out of the water and onto the bike. So about 86 seconds. And then that's the story now. We have to go up this section of Palani, left on Kuakini, then up onto the Queen Kaahumanu, and then down Palani, and then that climb up Kuakini. Guys, Kuakini is when we're going to see people trying to sort out, where do I belong in a group of 19? That is a large group. 19, that's 40 seconds from front to back, more. So we're talking about a big group, and then right behind that giant group is going to be the second giant group. This is going to be very tricky because everyone's sorting themselves out, finding their legs, finding where they belong, and I really think it's key to be slightly patient through that section.
And it's as well, we talked about this on Thursday. It is the most technical section of the entire bike course as they weave through town. And here we have the swim split brought to you by Wahoo Element. Florian Engert, our first swimmer across the finish there at 48:15. But of course, it has a lot of company in doing that. My question to you, Andy, in that lead group, any surprises in the swim? Who didn't make the lead group? Who didn't make the second group that you thought? And does that even matter at this point?
Yeah, I thought Kyle Smith might have been up there. I thought that Patrick Langen would have been in that group. But yeah, it's a different swim when it's a non-wetsuit. So if you're looking at what happened in St. George, and then you're trying to relate it to Hawaii, it's just a different kind of a look and a feel to it. Plus, we've been away from the Hawaii's Big Island for 3 years.
Yes.
Just 3 years? 2 years.
3 full years.
3 years. So I'm not surprised that there are definitely a few people missing. So
not surprised. It's bound to happen. But I tell you what, let's just look down and find some notables, because one thing to me that I like to see is Magnus Ditlev from Denmark. Bib number 32, he left the swim 1:33 down. Keep that in the back of your brain, guys. He's got company, Christian Hogenhaug, Ben Hoffman with him, Andy Dreitz, some experienced players. I'm still sitting here scrolling. I do see the likes of Ronaldo Colucci, the supreme Brazilian talent, Matt Hansen, and Chris Leiferman. But that gap, look at this. 4.5 minutes, 3.5, 4.5 minutes as we go to that skipper group. Yeah,
the skipper group. There's Keenley in there. There's Sanders in there. There's Skipper in there. That group has some firepower, and they're gonna get to work right away.
I agree. So if you look at that and you say, all right, we've got one player, major player for the win up front, and then you're going to try and find that second major player for the win. The names that we mentioned, you just had them: Sanders, Keenley, also Skipper, Werf, Leiferman. I tell you what, Hansen. That is going to be also difficult because those guys, how do they settle in? Okay, how do they settle in? Because it is someone tells you 440, you have a split. You're also looking around at all these other big guns with you. Werf, Sanders, Leiferman. You say, where do we go? Who goes and win? And what do we need to do? Because in the big picture, Didi, even 5 minutes across 112 miles can be quick. But when do you erase that deficit? Not right away, but
I think they get a little bit patient. They look around during this time and they see who they're with, and then as they come down Kuakini, they're going to be looking at what the gaps are. Right, this is their opportunity. Obviously, they're getting information from fans, friends, coaches along these sections of roads, but they're going to get eyes on and see what those gaps are in this next section along Kuakini.
Jesper Svensson from Sweden, a double Ironman champ. He impressed us all by winning Ironman Brazil and Ironman Lanzarote 2 weeks apart a couple years back. The man is very comfortable at the front of the race. He's got an extremely aero and powerful position. He's going to make a hard left here at the Hoka barriers and roll right on up the Kuakini Highway.
Hot corner.
Presenting himself himself with the first and only chance to see how far back everyone is. But up the road, Max Newman from Australia already ripping down the Kuakini Highway.
Yeah, you know, from when you are on this early section, it feels like you just want to get the vibe of the race. The race is like just the feel of all the fans that have come to support. But if you're dumping fuel here, it's gonna come back later on in the day.
Well,
for sure.
and this is a section, and I'll say it again, where the athletes really have to be heads up. We have some big bunches, we have some big packs here, and there's some tight corners there. If you ride into that draft zone, you have to be mindful that you've done it and get the heck out the other side. You don't want to get a penalty just because it was a tight corner and you didn't have your wits about you.
Yeah, I would. You'll see if we can get a shot of somebody's face here. That picture will tell 1,000 words, because we'll know how comfortable they are, if they're happy with their position out of the swim, if they are feeling like the air coming over their body is starting to cool them off, and if they're ready to tackle this 112-mile ride.
A lot of questions yet to be answered as we roll up the Kuakini Highway here on the race course. Talked about he's on a mission, so I'm going to rehash a conversation we had about the swim. Max Newman is putting massive time into what ultimately could be energy share, protection, 100%. Comfort. So should he? Is this why not? Or would it have made better sense to say, I wasn't on the favorite list and there's a lot of good horsepower, why don't I just ride with them? Preference? What do you think? Is he doing a good thing, Andy?
So the reason I like the move is because it'll create separation earlier on in the bike course for the group up front. So he's throwing, it's a little bit of a wild card to put out this much energy early, but anyone who wants to follow and go along with it, these are statement moves that instead of being noisy, they are impactful for, the 7th man in the line, for the 11th person down the road.
That's awesome. Great commentary there and great insight, because I think now you look at this as well, where we've seen Jesper Svensson bop to third and Sam Laidlow take that second wheel. We're going up the steepest climb in the whole race for bike and run. It is Palani, and it is why all these people are there, because they can get that easy pick, that easy photograph.
I love this ride.
This is great.
I love this section of the course because I would sit down and I would almost soft pedal here just to get in a rhythm and just take it all in. Hear the voices, know that you're just in the moment, and
you can take so much energy from the crowd here,
100%.
and I think no matter, you can almost put, if good swim, bad swim, whatever happened so far in the race, and we're early going, we're an hour and 7 minutes in, but whatever's happened, you can take the energy from the crowd along this section of the course and use it to your good, because you're about to go through a long, quiet section of road where you got nothing but your thoughts.
Like making this left-hand turn onto the Queen Kama'amanu Highway. This is when time trialing starts. This is when, that aero position that people put real resources behind in terms of going to the wind tunnel, and they'll go into this position that's fast.
Did you see that? Laidlow looked over Max Newman and he exchanged words, and it could be something to the like of, Loet, let's go at this together.
Right.
You and me, we've got a gap.
Right.
Could be anything. You've got seconds to share, but you do it. I'll say this.
Doesn't look like they were going to be working together.
Well,
it
you don't
looks
know.
like that was sayonara.
It could have been au revoir. But here's what I'm saying. You guys, join the conversation. I want to see you guys on IronmanNow.com. I want to see you there now. And I want to see you guys join us, because you have a lot of say and a lot of play if you get in there. But talking about a lot of play, group versus solo, about pace versus, sort of strategy versus response to the race. And Andy, it's on.
It's not just the group that you came out of the water with, too, if you notice an early break. So if you're in the second or third group back, let's say you were 4:07 coming out of the water, and the gaps, give or take 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you have a guy like Sam Laidlow going to the front, pressing the gas, and then you hear 5:02. and immediately you're thinking,
oh no,
I'm losing real estate.
Well, and you also know possibly that group out of the water ahead of you was a group of 20, and you're thinking, I've lost another minute to a group of 20, not knowing that it's just one dude.
Exactly.
In this case, two.
You don't know what's
Right.
up the road, but you're hearing information, hey, you're in 27th, 5:16 down.
Right.
And
But it's always, and that's the shameful thing about the bike leg, is that the information, like it's a split second you have to impart and take in that information, and it's always incomplete. But you don't have the presence of mind to realize that could be the case. You like the brain goes to worst case scenarios, like, oh no, I could be in trouble.
We're going to find out what he can see from their faces and the dynamics that are the chase pack. Matt, what are you seeing? Validate anything you've heard or share with us what you're seeing.
Yeah, thanks so much, Michael. Yeah, we are down here with a big check and see second chase back, 2 minutes down. Right now I'm sitting, we got Ben Hoffman right here riding really smooth. Bradley Weiss right behind him. I believe it's Maurice Clavel I saw behind him, all trying to keep that legal distance. Tim Burkle riding well here in 5th place in this position in his group. Then we have Patrick Lange. The refs are hovering. Things are pretty tight. The refs are hovering, but things are looking good right now. Let's move forward. I do think so Colin Chartier, we did have word he did have a flat, but he is caught up and he's in the second group riding well. Does not look stressed. Colin looks fine. Anything we've heard from Colin, people that have talked about Colin Chartier, is that he races like he's a seasoned pro, and that right there is someone who already forgot about his situation and his issues, and he's moving on with the race, moving forward. So yeah, great stuff. This second group starting to splinter a little bit at the front, but they are chasing hard, and they can see that first big chase group up the road, guys.
Beautiful, a great update from Matt Lieto. A nice look in here at our athletes that are rolling along there with Ben Hoffman. A reminder, folks, that this race started, this full gas bike ride, I should say, started with a group of 19, but it did not stay that way for long. Explosions, implosions, and all kinds of different plosions going on. We're out here on the highway, and here's that dynamic we talked about. The officials are right on these guys. And if you find yourself passing someone, guess what? You've got to pass 7, 8 guys. You cannot slot in at that legal distance.
You're looking at, it looks like it's Christian Blumenfeld. I don't know if he knows that you have 25 seconds to pass the rider in front of you. It looks like he wants to pass him within 5.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to play the game of slotting in. So he said, I'm just going to go until it's clear and obvious when I can go into a 12-meter draft. And if it was any kind of conversation in his mind of roll the dice, then it looks like he just said, no, I'm going to the front.
Now, in a group that is this large, Andy and I counted maybe
By about a minute.
Yep.
And then you've got a really nice pack of, call it 7 guys that are about 1 minute back. And then you're starting to see a little bit of a fissure in between 10 and 11. That's Kyle Smith hanging on to Jesper's wheel, and then Braden Curry leading Sam Appleton about 30 seconds behind him. So some early cracks in the grouping that you want to find yourself with. I will tell you, I was a little nervous with how Tim O'Donnell coming out of the water, but he knows which wheels to get on because he is in with that group with Gustav Eden, Christian Blumenfeld, and Magnus Ditlev.
And here we have a great look at that gorgeous VinFast lead vehicle paving the way for our professional men today as they are into it out on the Queen Ka'aumanu Highway headed towards Hawaii.
And if you feel like you're falling behind and just looking at one camera feed, I would encourage you to rush over to IronmanNow.com and push the camera experience where you want to see it. You viewers can choose that camera. You can watch what you want. You can see more feeds, not just what we're seeing. So don't miss that action. Take control of it. You said Tim O'Donnell, and boom, it's like the camera is tapped into your brain, Andy, or your audio.
You got the camera guy on payroll today, Andy.
Tim looks like he knows where he wants to be. And like you were saying, Michael, earlier, are your legs there? Are you going to wait for them to come around? I think Tim might have forced it a little bit to make sure he was in the right group and going to have his legs come around later. But he had to be in the right moment at the right time to be. It's like in running when if you have the most deadliest kick, but you are 2 minutes back, it doesn't matter.
Cam Wirth. Here he is coming on your screen right now, and he looks smooth. He is as aerodynamic gets, and look at that. He is literally breathing through his nose. Talking to him earlier this week, he said, you know, the triathlon Ironman isn't quite as hard once you've done the Paris-Roubaix as far as pacing on the bike ride. He tries to be calm, not be too crazy. He knows he's stronger than the rest of these guys. He's got to kind of let it come. But right now, Joe Skipper, someone that can run mid 230 on the marathon, pulls in front of Cam Wirth and says, dude, you're not going hard enough. Let's put some work in. Let's try to catch. So no doubt, Joe Skipper for this race. And let's see, we got some Uber bikers here. We got Chevalier, we got Sebastian Kienle, and Troutman and Wirth and Skipper all in the same group. And there's open road in front of them. They can see that next group, but it is 4 minutes for them to the main group of contenders in front.
Matt, thank you so much. Joe Skipper, I love it. He's getting a little back and forth with the man Cam Wirth from Australia. This is a dangerous duo at the front of a solid pack of riders. Great stuff. I also have to give kudos to what Andy referenced earlier, the change in kit for Ironman Day here at the big show. Joe Skipper always going to rock some colors, has never shied away from the pinks and the purples. So today doing it all in a bit of an 80s style. So a little nod from my fashion sense here to yours. Coming back to the exact opposite. We used to call this triathlon camouflage. Black and white, you blend with the herd. And here, these guys are doing nothing with the herd. They have left everyone behind. This is Sam Laidlow, 23 years old from France, pushing the pace ahead of Max Newman of Australia. And they do have a whole ton of open road behind them. If you want to say, hey, what's a minute look like? Now you can see it. That's a long stretch of road, and these guys are not in sight.
No, we're looking at 70 seconds plus on that gap. And Sam continues to do a little bobbing and weaving on the road. He's getting a little too close for my likings on the center line. I can imagine that maybe an official will come and say, hey, make sure you stay on the white line, because that is where he needs to be driving. It's not a bike riding problem for him. It's just maybe he should just hug that white line. But him and Max continue to maybe swap turns, but they're putting time on that immediate group of 7 behind them, and they look comfortable doing it. I think everybody still has high energy as we're riding, and they still have a lot of matches that they're willing to burn through. It's just, when are you going to run out of matches? Will it happen at mile 90 on the bike, or will it wait till the run, or just you got a matchbook full and you're just good to go with it?
I'll say this, 7 hours, 45 minutes. That's the fastest that Florian and Garrett has done an Ironman. He did that at Ironman Barcelona, a bit quicker of a course for sure, but he did that to take the win. And a reminder that he got 5th place at the Ironman World Championship in St. George earlier this year, 5th place, thus the bib number today. But watch out for the 30-year-old German. He feels comfortable at the front of this, the full gas bike course. Full gas bike course. How long? 180 kilometers, also known as 112 miles.
Yeah, this 112 miles, you're going to start to see the wind pick up. That's what the reports that we're getting out from the race course is, that wind is picking up. And when the wind picks up, it's usually a crosswind, meaning it's coming from the land side and it's pushing towards the water. And that's when
that's why they're riding the yellow line,
right? Because they're getting pushed to the water side, right? And you can see that sometimes equipment choices, what wheel depth people have decided to ride on race day. This is where it can kind of come into play. Sometimes they act as a sail. If you're strong enough on the bike, you're starting to see these really deep rear wheels, and then the
head wheel right there. That's the new head wheel.
It's just my communication today, guys, with the cameraman. You can see the deeper rim here.
Hit with a 30-mile-per-hour headwind.
They're not them.
We're not there yet.
No, we're not there yet.
And that's okay.
We're at about 8 to 12 miles an hour, depending on where you are along the coast.
And I think that the reality of our race now that falls on this second Saturday of October, we do tend to see calmer winds at the beginning of the month and big volatile blustery, crazy winds towards the end of the month. And historically, back in the day, if you will, this race used to follow the full moon of October. And so when it followed that full moon, you would often have this race as late as the 30th of October, the 23rd of October. If that happened, you tended to see late month big wins, but the punishing fall off your bike wins that now have just sort of fallen into legend and lore. But looking down, compliments of Qatar Airways, I will say these overhead pictures are unrivaled. Thank you to everyone who provide those, the actual individual hitting the camera, as we're back here on ground level with Florian and Garrett. Bib number 5, pushing well.
So Florian is leading the charge here with our chase pack, and it looks like we've got a couple groups on the road here. So if you're following along, we have a group of 11 that is about, give or take 115 back off of our 2 leaders in Max Newman and Sam Laidlow. Then we've got a nice strong group behind them that's led up by Mads Pedersen right now, Tim Van Berkel, Colin Chartier, about 230 behind your leaders. So you've got real groups forming on the bike that they're starting to realize, okay, this is my group of the day. This is who I'm riding with. And those gaps are starting to become really entrenched. The second group is quite large. It's in
a lot of players.
Yeah, I was going to say Patrick Lange in that group, Braden Curry in that group, Rudy von Berg in that group as well.
Yeah, we're looking at a group of probably 20 guys, and then you have the next group
expecting to roll in there.
Yeah, well, right here where you have the second group coming in, Michael, Florian Angert at the front of this group. He looks over his shoulder, and he is slowing down, signals to his right. He is stopping for a penalty. So 5 minute, he's very aware. He knows he's got 5 minutes, and he's very calm. He comes in, he takes his note here, and we have another penalty here, number 38. Coming through here to get his penalty. Another 5 minute penalty for this athlete as well. So what these athletes are doing is they are given a stopwatch that has started when they get the penalty. And you can see Florian is very upset, but being calm, not taking it out on the volunteers here. So Florian, being a professional, doing what he can, shake it off, and he'll be at it soon enough. Make sure he gets his hydration in. He's not allowed to take any assistance or any, he can't get, it's not an aid station. He can't improve his position at all. But he's smart. He's taking his time. He's very calm, very calm. You don't often see athletes that get a penalty like this be this calm. So kudos to these 2 athletes here for being respectful and being calm. They know it's hectic out there. It gets tight. There's a lot of action, so it's hard to always keep your distance, even if you're not trying to maintain or not trying to draft at all. It's just frustrating, right? You get 20 athletes together. So here in about 30 seconds, we're going to have 2 more athletes come through here. So it's getting busy. Those athletes are going to have to line up behind these 2 athletes here when they get their...
Called 70 seconds right before he went into the tent. And we know that the all these really great cyclists were about 550 back. So if there is that train, don't
take advantage. Don't do the work on your own. Just be patient and get on that train. But that's a good strategy.
If there isn't a train coming, then you go out and you reestablish that rhythm. Where it gets a little dicey is how much fuel, like you come out hot from a penalty, and then how much do you not want to burn versus I know you were able to get actually absorption of the calories because you didn't have a heightened heart rate. And
speak psychologically about the fact though that those guys they had some company in that penalty tent. Right? I mean, does that make it a little better?
No.
They were chuckling. No, a little only bit. Because I saw them smiling. So you can't. The thing is, you can be a baby and scream and yell when you're by yourself, but as soon as your peers are around, you have to temper that because you're like, I can't be. I'm sure the camera's on me, but you can't be, complaining because now there's suddenly your peers holding you accountable. Just a thought. But I want to go back to these guys because hold on. Now, for the first time, when you saw Sam Laidlow sit up and power through that pretty tough climb, right behind him, we still see Max Newman. Yep. But that was very obvious to me that they had enough road to see the chase pack. That 75, 80 seconds, they can see him. And he did a twice double take, kind of look back. I'm not saying that impacts him, but it is a long enough road at that point and the crest of that hill where he can now see whomever it is is XYZ behind. It's just a landmark.
I actually like the look behind here because Sam has created the gap. And coming out of the water, it looks like he put on socks, right? It's going to take some time. So he was top 3 out of the water. Then he puts on socks, a little bit of delayed. And then if you want a real gap, something that you created, you look over and be like, oh, no, I put those 70 seconds there.
Let's
going for you. You've got good taste. That's exactly the ice cream I would have chosen. Here we are with Sam Appleton, an Ironman World Championship rookie. The man from Australia has 15 Ironman 70.3 credits to his name, but he has not competed yet on this particular race. We're with Christian Blumenfeld now. And guys, everybody's looking at this scene. What you see is the crest of the hill. For all intents and purposes, you are rolling through the top part of the climb to Hawaii. You're going to drop down, and you're going to be in that turnaround. Matt is going to collect the data, the info, and we're going to see all of that as we come back to Blumenfeld fueling up with Gatorade on and off throughout the day.
We are coming to the turnaround, and the turnaround, usually what they'll see is they'll get a special needs right before they go to the turnaround.
After.
No, you see it, and then you go to the turnaround, and then you grab it,
Yes.
right? So they get to see the numbers. So if Matt has got a little bit more insight, love to know it. And we also want to know what flavor ice cream you got. What you got for us, Matt?
Andy, you know what kind of flavor ice cream I got. It's Kona coffee, man. It's delicious. It's super, super calm up here. Our lead vehicle just went around the other VinFast here. So coming around the corner here pretty soon. Super big group out here today. Here to cheer on. Hawaii is one of the most popular places to watch the race. Here we go. We have Magnus Ditlev. We see him now with a gap, obviously. He's taking his time. His gap's not that big though. Sam Laidlaw is still right there, but he sits up. There's not many times you can get a little bit of a rest out here. But sorry, that is Sam Laidlaw. My apologies. Sam Laidlaw first through. Magnus Ditlev moving through here in second place. And then we have, here we go, Christian and Gustav back on, looking very comfortable. So was able to have a really good shot of the face of both of those athletes in the back of the group. Clearly the favorites going into today. Gustav looks super calm. Christian looks a little bit, they're both focused, but Gustav looks like laid back, like chill. It's no big deal. This is exactly where I want to be. I didn't actually think maybe I'd be this far forward. Looks really chill, really calm. And I think with the conditions of Hawaii today, guys, like normally it's kind of treacherous, right? Like it's super fast on that downhill and a bunch of crosswind. You're going really fast, sometimes tailwind. None of that today. So I do think it's going to speed these times up. But now that this group of 5 is kind of cruising together, it's hard. Are the athletes in the front going to push the pace knowing they've got two 235 marathoners sitting with them very comfortably? But we're going to have some more athletes coming through here pretty soon around this turnaround. But what are you guys seeing right now?
Well, Matt, I'll say this, just right off the top. I mean, I'm finding it very difficult to believe that we're not going to have a winner come from that group. When we have Ditlev, Blumenfeld, and Eden, I think that it is, if I'm going to put myself out there this early, I'm calling a Norwegian for the win. I'm calling Blumenfeld, but I'm very close with Eden there. This is too good. This gap is massive.
But do they go off the front? Who goes off from here? Or do they just sit in, but knowing that they are the fastest runners on
these 5 do. I do honestly think they do, because I don't think it has cost them too much to get this gap. I think they continue pushing what they have. They have Laidlow, they have Ditlev. Those are 2 incredible escorts. They're both so strong on the bike. They're 23 and 24 years old.
So they don't shed them.
Scroll back, keep with them. And then Blumenfeld and Eden, those 2 have the chops. They have better history at championship events running fast. Look, no disrespect to Ditlev and what he did in Roth. This is a different game. I think that right now, and Andy, I want to hear your thoughts here, but they can continue to put a couple minutes in. We're going to lose someone. One of those 4 or 5 we're going to lose, and then we're going to roll in and we're going to see some crazy action for those guys. And the chase pack is still super talented, Andy.
So there's a couple things at play here. Why did Gustav and Christian get reattached to the front group? And I think the reason was because of the gradient of the hill. They were just able to just be nice and steady. Now, as we come down off of Hawi, we're going to see something a little different, and that's my speculation. Hasn't made the turn. So we know that Kyle Smith, Tim O'Donnell, and Jesper, they're in a nice group together, 2.5 minutes back. But that front group is looking stronger and stronger by the pedal stroke. And maybe Matt can cue us in on what he's seeing on the course and what kind of the body position and the body language is telling you. What do you got for us, Matt?
Yeah, thanks so much. We have these athletes right now, Andy, coming through the turn. So we go. Obviously, it gets a little tight on that turnaround. Cam is going to try to get back to the front as soon as he can. Look at, man, he is so focused. Dreitz looks to be in a great position as well. Joe Skipper, scary guy to be this far up. Obviously, Lange as well. Sebastian Kienle looks very comfortable. Rudy von Berg looks super comfortable. I would say, like, yeah, I mean, I'm overusing that word, comfortable, obviously, but I would say Rudy von Berg looks really comfortable, as does Sebi. We'll see how these athletes look. They're obviously a little bit further off the back, but Apo looks focused. Sam Appleton looks focused and good, but Cam Wurf looks like, dude, so chill, so comfortable, and he's going to put the effort in. But Joe Skipper, I think, is maybe the danger man in that group. Obviously Lange, but nobody looks like they're hurting. But I mean, they got to put some work in. They got 235 runners up the road that they need to bring back if they want to have a chance to win this race.
To the tune of 5 minutes up the road. So yeah, absolutely. If they need to start looking a little bit more uncomfortable if they want to make things happen.
So we're looking down on these leaders on the right side here, full screen, and you've got, of course, Blumenfeld, Max Newman, and Gustav Eden. Out of picture right now is Sam Laidlow from France, the 23-year-old with a little bit of pressure, a little bit of nothing to lose, because right now what happens is he's the, if you will, underperformer of the group at the finish line. We've got Max.
So one of these things is not like the other.
You're right. Max Newman going like this: 3 Ironman titles at Ironman Cairns. Gustav Eden, double Ironman 70.3 world champ and Ironman Florida winner. And then Blumenfeld, come on, I don't even need to say how good he is. So I like what I see here. Andy, I'm with you. Throw down, use the gearing, use the aerodynamics, and then what about Ditlev? He's just there. This guy can go later, and I would encourage that. I would stay until mile 80, and then you put the pressure on. 3 years ago, Jan Frodeno went at mile 90, and that's at the scenic overlook. Matt, that's when he said, this is enough. I will see you guys later. I'm going to win this on the bike with a great run. So much racing and so much tactics from in my opinion, mile 80 on, or from 130 kilometers on. This is really good for the Norwegians. And this is really good for Ditlev and Laidlow.
When we got the report from Matt, Matt was talking about how good the guys look. Yeah. And, okay, you look pretty good because, the climb up didn't put you in too much difficulty. And the reason it didn't put you in too much difficulty, when we saw Joe Skipper around the bend, he was 525 back.
Yep.
And that's a
lot.
That's a ton. And
when you've got sub 235 runners up the road, right? It's not such a big deal if they're 250 runners and that's the scenario. But when you can run like the Norwegians can run, that does spell trouble.
Yeah, and it looks like Cameron is done playing games, and he's gone to put his nose right in the wind and claw back some time. I see Cameron seeing other cyclists as he continues to put pressure on the pedals. I see him riding up and into Daniel Baekkegard, whose name we haven't mentioned in a while, and Christian Hogan, who we know can ride. We know those Danes sure know how to ride.
So here, check this out. Joe Skipper came out of the water 440 down, and now he's 513. So he's lost that time. Okay. Good. Bring it together. But he came out of the water 440 down. So did Wurf. So those guys have lost time. Look, I believe they would probably want to ride this on the back half. But to your point, so is it a good thing that they're looking fresh? Is it a good thing that they're absolutely going to murder the last 50 miles?
It doesn't matter. It's a lost opportunity because neither Cameron Wurf, he can't run.
Well, and
right.
Skipper has done,
done.
So, but either way,
not Wurf.
I am not with any camp that says it's a good idea to start the Hoka Run behind any Norwegian, period. Like, I just don't do that. I don't
policy.
back that plan.
That is item number 1 on your race plan.
Let's do this. We got to talk about something else. This is a grounds where we crown the champions of the world, but Lake Placid is where champions are crowned and legends are made as well. Nestled in the mountains of the Adirondacks, ViewSport Ironman Lake Placid, part of the VinFast North America Series, is 140.6 miles of breathtaking views, challenging hills, and the ultimate finish line in the Olympic Oval. Join us July 23rd of 2023 and compete for one of the coveted slots that qualify you for the 2023 VinFast Ironman World Championship. Just sign up today at Ironman.com. Okay, here's what Matt talked about. Do you see anything missing in the background, Didi?
White caps?
There's no white caps. What does that mean to the new viewer or to the forgetful? If you don't have white caps, you don't have wind. If you don't have wind, this is a different day. This is a fast bike day. I'll just lob this up there for you two experts. When there's no wind on the bike and we ride sub 410, what does that do to the legs on the run? Does it make them fresher or do we overbike?
Well, I think you start to ride with the people. You keep people attached to groups that maybe should be dispatched because they're not at the cycling pedigree that you have.
It's who's making mistakes in the process.
Yeah, and when with Michael, what he was mentioning before, when the conditions are really good, we'll see a faster day. And so what does a faster day mean? Well, a faster day keeps more athletes engaged mentally to know that they are still in contention. Mm-hmm. Also, a faster day physiologically means you need to use fewer outside resources to fuel your tank. So why do we like it when there's heavy winds and really warm conditions is because it lengthens out the day. There's more, lack of a better word, carnage on the race course because of the meltdowns that are not happening.
Laidlow now has a 25-second gap over Christian Blumenfeld, Magnus Dietlev, Max Newman, and Christian.
That may well be why he looks like he's a little bit under duress. I mean, he's obviously making a move here and trying to capitalize and get away, play the card that he's got to play.
And I'd say it this way: to me, this again is just going into a couple decades of watching this race. You're hitting that mile 70 or 69, 70 in that zone. You mentioned it, Andy, 3.5 hours of racing. You're going to start to see these athletes also, what I like to say, and this is not scientific, but they cross over often that sweet, salty barrier in this time. And you start to really go from where all those delicious drinks and all those
they don't taste so delicious anymore.
those sweet gels and all that stuff, it starts to really put you off, and you realize that your demands are now switching over to more sodium needs. It's a sweet, salty barrier. A lot of people don't understand it, see it. These calculations are unreal. So certainly these guys, what they're doing is they're going to be aware of that. But I think that you have to factor that in as you roll through this compartment of the race. Just be ready for it.
When you look at this, look at the time frame of the day, right? We're 3.5 hours into this race, and that is about, if you could smell the finish line in terms of a half Ironman, then you know you can go a little deeper. Yeah. But if you know that you aren't even halfway through the day, then it's that sweet, salty barrier.
Yeah, you got it.
And it messes with you mentally and physically.
You got it. Yeah, that's it. So I want to remind everyone that if you're on IronmanNow.com, you can have this great view. You can choose your very own camera view. You can get in there and dictate if you want to look at Christian Blumenfeld or if you want to pop over to someone else. You can have one of those 4 camera views at your disposal. So great stuff. You also get to throw up a little quick video avatar, say hi to your fans, interact, of course. It's a great way to experience our broadcast, IronmanNow.com. So that's what it looks like. Jump over there now because you're still staying with us. Everything continues the same. But Didi, so Andy, here's a story. I still love this move, and I like that gap, and I think he does too. But I'm still going to play the advocate for waiting until 130K because I think that we saw this.
Too soon.
It's too soon. It's too soon to make a break stick. It's costly because you dangle. Because what happens is you come down. You've got a couple of rollers here still to contend with, and then you come down into Kauai High. And not to beleaguer the point here, but it does often feel like one of the hottest places on the surface of the planet when you go up that mile-long hill, or 1.6 kilometers, and the wind is at your back if there is any. The speed drops dramatically. Sweat rate heightens. It increases. It's dripping off your face. You're questioning everything, including your will to live and why did you sign up for this race. And then it passes. You turn right on the Queen Ka'ahumanu. But that's coming up still in 20 minutes for him, or 15 minutes. So I don't know.
It's 30 seconds, and it's some serious firepower behind him. To be determined if this is a decisive break, but it's definitely a cognizant choice.
We haven't seen Gustav in the camera yet. Oh boy, I love that picture. Just the calm waters. Look how calm they are. There's no white caps.
No wind. Yep.
Thanks again to Qatar Airways for providing those great shots, because Andy, that makes me want to jump in.
I'll go for a swim with you, Michael.
Let's
hop on my feet.
Sounds like a date.
So
hop on my feet. Good luck.
So we haven't seen Gustav. He's sitting in fifth in the group of 4, but he hasn't put his nose into the wind
At all.
And that's part of that savvy that you is sometimes it's innate, sometimes it's learned, but
the chase group behind, though,
3 minutes.
Svensson, Tim O'Donnell, and Carl Smith, that is unchanged. So they're holding that gap from the turn at Hawi.
And it looks like Daniel Backegaard is another minute behind the group that contains T.O., Jesper, and Kyle Smith. But going back to Gustav, I like the lack of mental energy he needs to expend. Yeah. He's just saying, hold at 12 meters.
Hold at 12 meters. Drink now. Hold at 12 meters. Have a gel now. Hold at 12 meters. Just tend it to all the business. That's such a great point, Andy.
Yeah.
It really is. It's an escort. And he's, it's not, it's instinct. It's calculated. Well, here we go. Now already we're looking at Dietlev, and then Blumenfeld, and then Newman, and then Eden. Correct. Those 4, all 12 to 14 meters apart. I know the camera angle tells you something else right now, but remember, camera angles can play with your mind.
They're being marshaled so tightly. They're 12 meters.
100%. Yeah. But that right there, and watch, in the saddle, out of the saddle, seated, in the aero bars, very different play for that hill. But you know what? This is kind of a preference thing as well. Nothing is wrong. Someone may want the aerodynamics. Someone may give it up to have a stretch of the back and the hamstrings, calves, and whatnot. So it's all different play. But Dietlev, let's say this. I bet I would at least bet $1, if not 2, that when he gets to the top of the Kauai High climb, he is planning a move, because this, again, he said it. I want to do some damage on the bike, and not many people can run 240. I've done it twice this year.
I'm not taking that bet with you, because that's what it looks like, right?
Totally.
So
the way for us mere mortals to do and emulate what you did. So right now the action continues back up onto the Queen Ka'ahumanu Highway. They'll go past Mauna Kea, down on the flats of Waikoloa, and the last chance to break the legs of the competition going up Scenic Hill. Is that the telling point of the last part of the bike?
Well, the Scenic Hill is about a mile gradient, and the day's been pretty calm. They've been riding fast, so the wind's not going to be a problem. It can be a cross or a headwind in there, but it does sting your legs. And the irony of the course, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that's not the second highest point on the course. It really comes another about 8K beyond that. Where you're coming into town, it's near the Hawaiian cemetery. That's the second highest point other than Hawi, which they've already passed. So there still is a fair amount of climbing to contend with, and it does sap your legs a bit. Interestingly, with the women yesterday, I think a lot of them were pretty zapped by the bike. These guys are a totally different day, having a phenomenal cycling leg. But are they going to try to overrun Elite E Drive? And that's always a question.
Yeah, it's always a question. Elite E Drive is only a very small portion of the race now, where it used to be a larger portion. Very tough, very hot and humid out there. There was a lot of rain overnight, so it's going to be permeating out of the ground. It's not 88 on the ground. It's about 120 coming up into the faces. It's going to be a very sweaty afternoon. Nutrition, very important. Mark, you touched on the rookies. There's a lot of rookies here today. Christian Blumenfeld, Gustav Iden, Magnus Dietlev, Sam Laidler. This is amazing. But 2 days ago, a rookie won the race. Chelsea Sodaro. She was absolutely meticulous in her drive toward the championship. She was smooth and she left no stone unturned, executed the perfect race. What's it going to take to execute the perfect race today for either one of those three rookies?
Well, I think you're seeing them do it right now, and before the event, a lot of people asked me, what would you like to see today? And I said, I would like to see one of the rookies do it like Chelsea did in the women's event. You can look at the pack that's about 5 minutes back. There's some horses in there. There's Patrick Long. Normally 5 minutes you would go, no big deal. The guy can run everybody down. Well, there's several guys ahead of him who he would have a very hard time catching, and he may lose time to them on the marathon. A big pack in that 5-person group, or that 5-minute back group, if they work together, if they kind of rallied to sort of like push the pace and try to close that gap, it could be very close with a lot of guys at the end. But as we all know, those chase packs, if they get to be a lot of people, a lot of times people kind of look around and they go, I'm not going to be the carrot out here for you, just like Magnus said to Christian and Gustav right there. He goes, I'm not being the carrot anymore. You guys take the lead now.
Mark, I want to talk about this because in your racing days, you were the strategist. So were you, Dave. You were very strategic in how you placed yourself where you were. You were more of the driver in the early days of Ironman in the early 80s. Mark, when you came along, when the bike started getting a little bit better, more aerodynamic, a little bit lighter, the sport started changing just a little bit away from our steel frames, right, Dave? And our
they have changed. Those steel frames are pretty ugly bikes.
Yeah, well, we used to do up the toe straps, but everything's changed, right? So the times are coming down. So it's an incredibly difficult thing to understand how aerodynamics and everything come into it. My question to you is right now, these guys are pushing it harder than they ever have. Lionel Sanders, he's
also smelling a course record because he is on pace for a bike course record at this very moment. Now, this is a question for Didi and Michael. Contender, pretender, 90-plus miles into this bike ride. We are, almost 95 miles into the entire race. Contender, pretender here for Sam and any other people in our top 10.
Contender for what? Let's define it.
Okay,
contender for top 5, contender for top 10, contender for the win.
Contender for the podium.
What's the podium? 3?
Top 3 is a podium in my book.
I say no.
0.
I say no, and I say that because I just...
Sorry, Sam Laidlow. He's super talented, and I think one day, yes, but I don't think today.
I echo that. And
pretender from both.
Well, yeah, I just hate to use that term but I do, yeah. If I had to pick one or the other, for sure. He's not going to... I've been wrong so many times, but I don't think I'll be wrong here. I don't see him pulling out the best course record type bike split and then his best ever run when he has the heat.
15 minutes it's going to have to be.
Like, when we look at the people that come off the bike first year.
Yeah.
So Jan Frodeno, he came in here, he'd already won it twice, came off the bike, and he put together the best run ever. Typically, you come off the bike here, there's a lot of management going on where you're going...
You're excited for 6 miles.
Do I hold it?
Yeah.
Do I push it? Do I wait?
Literally, had he run 2:45 before in his life, I would feel very differently. Yeah. I would say, okay, maybe the trajectory is there. And I think the trajectory is there, but I don't see against guys that have run sub 2:35 and have run 2:40 on a couple of occasions that you're going to have that kind of 15-minute PR off a course setting. And granted, the conditions today are setting up for course records on the bike, certainly. I think we're going to have a smoking hot run as a result. But I just don't think the two happen together at the same time.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, as we look at Gustav Iden here, I can tell he's driving real power to the cranks at this moment. So there's a slight left to right movement in his technique, but he's got some sort of cooling I don't know what that is.
That's Sam Laidlow because he's been hammering out on the Queen Kaumana Highway. He's inside of 5 miles to go, guys. He is really pushing down the pace on our favourites right now. Gustav Iden is there. Christian Blumenfeld. Dietlev is going to have to pay 5 minutes back to the bank right here as he gets set to run out on the marathon. On behalf of Jessica, I'm Greg. We'll see you in a little bit. Let's go.
Great stuff as always, Greg. I love it. I love the energy. Jessica, thank you so much. Good stuff here as we're back with this man who's going to have his time in the spotlight continued on Elite Drive at the outset of the Hoka Run. And guys, when he gets there, it is going to be not only a massive energy input into this man's system, but as you all know, it's going to be a sunshine-fueled, humidity-driven, windless energy suck. How much does that hurt when you come out of T2 and you're going up that hill on Palani thinking, how many miles?
I'm just going to say this about Sam Laidlow right now. His predicted bike finish time, 4:06:55. Current bike course record, 4:09:06. I don't want to tempt fate, but I think he's got this one in the bag.
Oh, I think he does too. And this is more incentive.
Yes.
What's going to stop him now? He's not cramping.
Nope.
He doesn't have any wind picking up. So keep the pace, and I think he's extending it. It is also one of those things. Well, guess what? Extra incentive if you get that course record to finish, because a lot of people drop out in this race. But you don't get to keep the record if you don't get across the finish line. So, I mean, you know, when you're 23, what a great thing to aim for. So, and there we are again, watching this man. And Andy, you brought this up earlier. Another technological advantage from an apparel standpoint. He's got aerodynamic dimpled socks, right? So when I say, hey, they're compression, perhaps. When we say that they're cooling and wicking and keeping that sun off, perhaps. But you're saying, obviously, there's more aerodynamic fabric on this man, and it is playing out for him as he comes around this. Wow. So we're inside now. We're right here by the ultimate turn on the run. I mean, he is inside the run course.
He's inside the run course, still all over the bike, though, or all over the road. Still riding a little bit to the left for my liking.
Let's just do this. I'm going to dock him 5 seconds. Whatever he does, I'm docking him 5 seconds.
Any way you slice it, he's gonna, maybe nab this course record on the bike.
In fairness, you could come close to docking him 5 minutes and he'd still get the course record. Not quite, but almost.
What would be fun though would be to watch also. Sorry to hijack you there, Andy, but wouldn't it be fun to watch him and Cam Wirth on like a live Instagram chat now about this? You take a record from Cam Wirth. I mean, he straight up says, "Tangle with me, and you shorten your career." Like
he did that. Yeah. That's quote right out of his book.
So anyway, look at overhead compliments of Qatar Airlines. We are seeing overhead shots of the wonderful, the vibrant, the beautiful Kailua Kona, Hawaii. And this, my friends, is what we've been waiting 3 long years for, or 2 days if you were here on Thursday, to watch this return to the beautiful and historic venue. That on the right side is our top 10. Those guys going for those top spots, and it is France, Norway, Denmark, Australia, France, Australia, USA, Germany, Sweden, and guess what? Great Britain and USA. A lot of international talent. That wore me out reading flags. Us in and take Mr. Sam Laidlow off the bike and into T2 is Matt Lieto. Matt, here comes Sam Laidlow. Let's hear what you think from your perspective.
Oh, Sam wants to hear from the crowd.
He's like, hey, did you guys see what I just did out there?
Whoop it up, because I'm riding a course record, maybe 4:05 here. I'm not sure
100%.
Time.
100%. Yeah.
But he was saying to the crowd, come on, give me some love here. I just threw down a monster split. Matt, where are you and what you got?
Here we go. We got Sam coming off the bike. Here we go. Looks great, guys. I mean, not what I expected to see from an athlete that was riding that hard. He looks really, really good, really smooth, open hips, comfortable. Generally, when we see the Uber biker get off the bike, he's a little bit stiff. No, he looked fantastic, great energy. When he heard he had over 4 minutes, he was pumped. But I'll tell you what, I'm kind of pulling double duty to the whiteboard for most of these athletes in the front of the race as well. And when I showed Gustav 4 minutes, I'm going to give you my Gustav impersonation. That is exactly the look that he gave. He was shocked, but didn't stress too much, but he was more worried about the athletes behind. So Sam is going to have the mental advantage of getting out of this super, super long transition without a sight. He'll be out of sight on the run before these athletes come in. Give him a chance to kind of settle in. But I'll tell you what, guys, it is hot down here. It is really hot. It's really still. conditions were great in Hawaii, a little cool, not that much wind. But if you rode as fast as I just heard he rode this bike ride, and you go off and it's just this stagnant, hot, humid air, it's gonna be tough for Sam to hold good pace, but absolutely crushing it, guys. Really, really impressed by that bike ride, and especially how Sam looked coming off the bike.
I was going to say, in the time that Matt has been talking, the gap now, 5 minutes to Magnus Ditlev, nearly 6 minutes to Gustav Iden, Christian Blumenfeld, and Max Newman. That's through 109.3 miles. That is enormous. That is getting to the point where they actually do need to maybe start to be concerned,
and
not
so
alarmed.
I'm with you. I'm hearing you. Here's what I'm going to say, Matt, in case you didn't get to see this yet. 4:04:36 puts him 4 minutes and 30 seconds faster than the previous course record held by Cam Wurf. Look, it's not a done deal. Sam Laidlow, you got to keep running. You got to get to that finish line, which I expect he will. But I tell you what, a new bike court record is something we will talk about as Sam Laidlow runs out of transition. There it is on the Wahoo Element 4:04:36 for 112 miles today on the full gas bike course. This man came here with a plan. He didn't care which Norwegian was behind him. He was going to get away from them all. Also the Danes, all of them. France is in front, and he wants more love.
Yeah,
Come on,
give it
guys.
to him.
Give him what he needs as he runs up Polani and is hanging a hard right onto the Kuakini. I am a fan already of Sam Laidlow, and today even more so. This guy took the bull by the horns.
So as Sam Laidlow runs up Polani for this hot corner right-hander, he's not even going to see Magnus come into transition.
Well, Magnus has to serve the penalty.
And we all know how, the penalty tent's a little bit before that
right-hander. Right after the
right-hander.
pool.
Max Newman right there. He's taking his shoes out, as you said, Didi. The kit is unzipped. We have to think about transition as we go, and we are also going to zip on over to Matt. Matt, you are on the ground, and here they come, Norwegians and an Aussie. What have you got as they come into transition two?
Here we go. Thanks so much, Michael. We can see the crowd getting excited. These athletes actually dismounted pretty early. We had Gustav running through super well. These volunteers are pumped to see it. He does not know yet that he has a 6-minute gap, but these athletes, Max Newman, really aggressive, goes past the Olympic gold medalist in transition. That's some bold running as Christian Blumenfeld looks at his watch. These athletes, again, are going to have to run all the way on the outside of this pier, as you guys know. But right now, there's like some moves being made, right? Like I know Christian wanted to be in front of Gustav coming off of the bike. Now they're together, but you can make a move here to detach Christian Blumenfeld if you're Gustav. So he's on the gas right now, trying to run, maybe get a gap in transition actually, and try to get it keep Blumenfeld from being able to start on his shoulder, guys. But those three athletes all look like they're running fantastically. Laidlow running great as well, but just a different turnover, different rate of speed, guys.
Matt, that's great stuff. Let me just give you a split as you watch these men rip it through T2. Sam Laidlow running 6:16 pace for 0.8 of a mile, or a little almost 2K, or I'm a 1.2K. So Matt, he's running 6:16. If I look at that, that's not overcooking it. That's moderate. That's a decent pace. Like he didn't go out at 5:50. He didn't go out at 5:40 as we come back.
I've done that. That's a big mistake.
Yeah, that's right. So look, here it is. This is the man. He's now looking to see who else is coming. When will I see Wurf, Chevalier, O'Donnell? Sorry, Matt, we're looking at the penalty box right now, but we're going to make sure we're seeing athletes ride by, Matt. You're going to soon see those cast of characters, including Wurf, Chevalier, O'Donnell, Kienle, and Callan, Svensson, and Skipper coming at you pretty soon, Matt.
So as we look at Sam Laidlow, on Alihi as his main
so much,
competition
Michael.
is in T2.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Matt. We'll come back to you in just about 20 seconds.
And we're getting ready now as Magnus Ditlev looks over the shoulder once again, watching that clock count down to when he can leave the penalty tent and get back to the action.
Matt, here we go. Take it away. Blumenfeld out of T2. What have you got?
6 minutes. 6. Yeah, there we go. We had Blumenfeld out of T2 with Gustav Iden as well. There's Cam Wurf coming into T2. So that, again, mentally, Cam saw his competitors as they went out. So that was an advantage for him to be able to keep eyesight on those athletes. Max Newman looks super comfortable. Chevalier coming through here as well. T.O. coming off the bike. Wow. Sebastian Kienle looks great. Super composed. Took his helmet off, put the glasses on. He's here to run a fast run course. You know, I was talking to him before the race, and everybody talks about Sebi riding the bike fast. He's like, this course, ride your bike well and be the best runner off of a hard bike ride, and he's going to look at that bike split and be like, oh man, we are in some territory that is out of control as far as bike splits, but he knows he's one of the best runners in the sport off of a very hard bike ride. And Michael, to your point, Laidlow running that 6:19s, I think is what you said. That is, I agree, conservative. He's not overcooking it. He needs to probably settle in a little bit. But the splits that were going to be coming out of those two athletes and Max Newman that ran out of the transition just a moment ago are going to be a little bit quicker than 6:16 pace. When they came out, Blumenfeld had a little bit of a gap on Gustav, and Gustav had to bridge back up to Christian. So there's going to be a little bit of gamesmanship early, but we're going to have a shoulder-to-shoulder run here with the Norwegians chasing Laidlow.
Jim, Matt, great stuff. And just for fun, because I know you want to hear this, yes, Cam Wurf also broke his own bike course record. He's already been surpassed, but he's 4:09.05. He got under the barrier. Sebastian Kienle, 4:09.11. He got under the old barrier. Leon Chevalier under the barrier at 4:09.05, but we have a new mark at 4:04.36. Now, here's the question to my co-hosts. Who is going to come out of this group first? Who's going to advance out of this group to get away? Eden, Blumenfeld, Newman, what are you guys picking?
Oh, this group. So because the type of effort that bike required, Cameron always comes off the bike really fresh and firing in T2. But you know, with what Matt said, you know, with the way that Sebastian looked coming off, Tim O'Donnell, we know, has run sub 250. I think Sebastian's best run here might be 246. That's just off of my brain. And then you got Magnus, who, despite serving a 5-minute penalty, rode 4:13.38. So, you know, that is including the penalty. So this is... The race is kind of heating up, and it's not just started, obviously, because we are over 5 hours into it.
You know, we come back to the psychology of Magnus. We go back to his Ironman debut at Texas, where he had the mechanical issue, and that cost him a whole lot of time. And he seemed to take that in stride. He really needs to adapt that mentality now that he's served the penalty. He's back in motion. It's got to be in the past.
Maybe that was a good thing, you know, having already experienced it one time, saying,
yeah.
And I use this with my athletes. You know, you've got that experience bucket. It doesn't ever run dry. You can always go to it. And he's going to have some mental hurdles that are higher than he wanted them to be, but hopefully he can clear them.
Everybody loves a leader, and today that man is Sam Laidlow from France, and he is getting so much love.
Oh, look at this. This is what everybody has been anticipating.
This is the talk of the town, going in, going out. We've got two Norwegians together, stride for stride. Christian Blumenfeld, top of your picture. Gustav Eden, bottom of the picture, just so slightly. These guys coming out here off of the Kuikini down onto Hualalai, the hot corner just ahead. They'll hang a hard left on Ali'i Drive, and once on Ali'i, it's a short out and back, and they're going to get to see the leader.
This is the matchup that everybody was hoping for at the World Championship back in May in St. George. Gustav Eden pulled up with an illness, wasn't able to compete, but here we are in October on Hawaii's Big Island, and it is all unfolding. Gustav Eden, Christian Blumenfeld, heading out in pursuit of our race leader, 6 minutes, 18 seconds, and 25 seconds down.
That's a mile.
Yep.
That's a mile at this pace. And I'll tell you, when we saw the Norwegians running shoulder to shoulder, they were zipped up. So that tells me they are nice and cool. They're not worried about already staying, trying to shed some heat.
Max Newman.
Trying to make it a trifecta here, but let's take a quick look at the
Is
Martin
it a
Ironman.
trifecta, or is that just a pass?
We've got to
under
look
the
at
Morton.
Bold move as we just addressed the transition times that got us here. Combination Martin transition times. Blumenfeld went for 4:29, both T1 and T2. Eaton 14 seconds in arrears, and Laidlow 23 seconds behind that. But this, guys, as we look at the race and the throngs of fans that are out here sweating it out with the best of the best, we have a move that has definitely been made. Max Newman said all that chitter chatter.
I think it's noise. Here comes Norway. Norway's coming right back. I think it's noise.
It is. Look, this is what's awesome, though, because why?
When you can just settle in and follow somebody rather than being by yourself. So I'm anticipating that these guys will be hawking them down up the road pretty soon here.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at around about a 30-second per mile average faster pace from Max, Gustav, and Christian at the moment. Sam Laidlow now is running 6:17s as opposed to the 5:47s coming from our trio here in second, third, and fourth places. Nutrition going down the hill. How important yesterday was core temperature regulation for you, and how did you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I got some advice before the race from James Cunema, who's coming fourth here. He told me, just don't ever let yourself overheat. Once you overheat, you can't come back from it. So I kept that in the back of my mind, and I was really disciplined with taking on ice and water, keeping myself wet, putting ice down my jersey and my hat. So it's all about managing yourself, constantly checking in with how you're feeling and getting what you need at every aid station.
Yeah, well, you executed that very well as well. And what about, did I see something around your wrist? Was it one of those little cool patches?
Yeah, I'm still figuring out the best place to wear it. I had it under my hat, and I didn't feel like I was getting enough cooling effect from the headband and able to keep my hat on with the ice. So there are some rookie mistakes that I did make out there, Greg, yesterday. I still have some room for improvement, I think. So we'll get that dialed before next year.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gee, they're fighting words right there. It's only a day after. Sorry, it's not even 48 hours after your win, and you're already throwing down those words. That's amazing. Okay, back to the action right now. Sam Laidlow, he's still running out to the turnaround here. Not far to go. He'll make that U-turn. That'll be the first time that he's seen the rest of the boys there for quite some time. He will be able to get an idea just exactly where they are, how he is feeling, and gauge the pace that the rest of the guys are running right now. How important is it for Sam to keep his head in the game as opposed to looking at his competition?
Sam needs to just focus on himself right now. It's going to be a little intimidating seeing this crew. They're beautiful runners, and that hasn't always been Sam's strength, but he has a big lead. If he can just keep to his plan, not worry too much about what's going on behind him, I think that'll set him up for his best possible result.
Tell you what, their stride right now looks very, very nice. You can see Blumenfeld in the white and the red. He's got a shorter stride than Max Newman from Australia. Gustav Eden just looks like he is prancing away like a beautiful deer or a springbok on a beautiful Sunday afternoon running through the fields here. He is just in stride at the moment. So Max Newman and Christian Blumenfeld, Gustav Eden are all chasing our leader right now, Sam Laidlow of France. Now, Sam, at this point in time, you got to the lead pretty quickly, and then you just kept on establishing, more and more of a break. And how is Sam going to feel that pressure? Did you feel any sort of pressure from behind yesterday?
I don't think I really worried too much about that. I was concerned about Ani. We know what a talented athlete she is. She's experienced here. She's an incredible runner, so I always kept in the back of my mind that I needed to keep the pressure on and not let up. But I think I just had one of those days where I was in my own flow and in my own head and worked out.
Looks like Laidlow's still hanging on to his pace pretty well. He's still out to about 5:40 lead on the rest of the competition here at the early part of the run course. Around about 23 miles to go right now. We can see that Max Newman from Australia still setting the pace from the duo here, the Norwegian guys here led by Christian Blumenfeld and Gustav Eden. Gustav just taking a little bit of nutrition on board as well. Got a little bit of a fan over there to the side. You think he can hang on? Anyway, okay, just running past the church there, going through the Gatorade Endurance zone here. How important is to manage electrolytes at this point?
Yeah, you want to take in as much as you can of everything they have to offer at those aid stations. It's like a buffet when you're rolling through. If you keep on running and you're still moving fast, you just got to grab and go, whatever you can get your hands on.
Yep, exactly. All right, there's Max. Now he's fallen back into 4th place, just going through the aid station like that. So Christian and Gustav, the training partners from the Scandinavian region. Nobody has ever won the race from Scandinavia before, not even from Finland. When Paulie Kiru challenged, he was a 2nd place getter in 1993. I don't even think you were born.
Oh, I was. I was born.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Chelsea.
I'm an 80s baby.
You can pay me later. But anyway, we had Paulie Kiru coming in 2nd place, and Rasmus Henning also from Denmark there. So anyway, we're going to leave it there with Chelsea. Any final thoughts, and what's your advice for all these guys?
This is exciting. I cannot wait for the drama that's about to play out here on the course. I just get to be a fan today, so I'm going to enjoy it and watch these guys do their magic. They're incredible.
Chelsea Sadoro from the USA, the new Queen of Kona, and she cannot wait till tomorrow night at the banquet where she gets to thank all of her partners, sponsors, her family, and then she will have that crown and to come back in 2023 at the VinFast Ironman World Championship. Sam Laidlow continues to lead the race with a 5-minute and 28-second lead over the chasing trio here. Christian Blumenfeld, Gustav Eden, and Max Newman from Australia. Back to you guys in the studio. We'll talk to you soon.
Greg, Chelsea, thank you so much. You two are awesome for being here. I want to get right over to Matt Lieto, who is on Elite Drive and together with some champs. Matt, take it away. Give us what you got. Sebastian Kienle is who we thought he was standing next to, but right now he probably can't keep up. Kienle, to answer your question there, Andy Potts, 2:49 is what he went. Well, 3rd place here. He went when he was 3rd place. So that is his best run on this race course. But he has just really become such a runner.
He's struggled with Achilles injuries on and off. But to your point, his form looks fantastic. Contrast to I believe is that Magnus Ditlev on right screen, who isn't looking as good as I've seen him look before. Again, if we compare form to form, athlete to athlete, I think Sebastian is looking as good as we've ever seen him look, and I don't think Magnus is looking his usual self at the moment.
I tell you looks can be deceiving though, because Magnus is running faster.
Yeah, and that's how he looks when he runs 2:40. I mean, we saw this in Texas. Oh my gosh, he doesn't look so whatever. He ran 2:40. But the bottom line is, when we really just talk about less of the form and more of Sebastian Kienle has, from when he first won this race and when he won his 2 Ironman 70.2 titles, he has become less of a one-trick pony, right? That's what Jan Frodeno called him when he first started. And I remember it like it was Tuesday. They both, a lot of fun and loving banter, but he was, Kienle wasn't as well-rounded, didn't swim as well, didn't run as well, and he is a full threat on the run now. He really is. He's done 2:45. The guy can crank it, and I think that he's getting that chance that not everyone has to kind of script the ending here, where if he finishes this race in a solid top 10, top 5, he can walk away relatively on top for him now, right? That's a good way to go. He's not being forced out. I just like it. I like it a lot. Now we're here on what Andy Potts said is one of the best parts of this race. Fans everywhere, hot, humid, and Ali'i Drive.
Lining the course on Ali'i Drive. Here's the turnaround. It surprises you how quickly it comes up on you, but about 3.5 miles into the run.
Run together pretty much the whole way. Will it be a Mark Allen and Dave Scott Iron War replica? We'll just have to wait and see. That came down to 22.5 to 23 miles, but right now they're as tough as nails. And then you got Max Newman from Australia tailing the 2 Norwegians right now. All right, we're going to say goodbye to Matt Pankey. Dr. Matt Pankey, thank you so much for coming down, mate. What a heroic effort the other day with a broken tailbone. Must have been very uncomfortable on that bike for however time you were on it. Thanks for coming along and explaining just how important it is for Gatorade Endurance to be partnered up with the Ironman Group.
Thank you. Pleasure as always.
All right. Thank you, Matt. All right. We're going to throw it back to you guys. Back in the studio, Andy, Didi, and Michael.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you so much, Dr. Pankey. You guys are awesome, always giving great insight. Here we are back with this duo that is just explosive. And I have to say, if you're on Ali'i Drive, if you can tear yourself away from this coverage and get out there live, you're going to see an epic battle here as these men get ready to run up Palani. And this is, we talk about how do you get up Palani? Any way you can, but these two are about to put a clinic on. Hey, do you think Ferdinand's still at that aid station?
I know, I was wondering, I was like, this is
Yeah, you out there. Hit us up with some info.
Oh my gosh, here we go. So overhead shot gives you a great look at the leg extension. Max Newman's still very close to those two race horses up front, only losing 30 seconds or so and really just staying in contact, Andy.
Yeah, not even. Max looks great. You can see him pumping those arms, getting up. This hill is, the gradient's a little deceiving on camera. When you're out there, you feel like you're taking one step forward and it's only a foot because it goes just in front of your toes on the opposite foot.
You can most people have heard of Mount Everest. I mean, that's pretty much what you're running.
This is Hawaii's version of Everesting.
Oh, yeah. So I could see actually a big chunk getting eaten out of Sam's lead here by all three of these guys just because of the way that they're able to tap out a rhythm. It has less to do with like the size of your gait and more about the rhythm of your cadence. So you can see them, you shorten up that cadence.
You want to shorten
drive,
up the
drive.
Yeah, you want to shorten up the stride and increase that turnover and drive that chest into the hill in front of you. Will your way up it if you have to. But yeah, this is a tough one. We see a lot of souls broken on this hill. In fairness, with the modified course from years and years ago, it comes a little bit earlier, which is a little bit kinder, but still a big challenge here.
Sort of helpful. Here's the other thing, often overlooked, but not something that the top race horses don't have to contend with is cramping. So we look at muscular fatigue cramping. We look at electrolyte imbalance induced cramping. Look at cramping. Like, let's just talk about a muscle spasm. When you hit a hill like this and you are all of a sudden shifted literally to a different gait, it is very difficult. In fact, this overhead shot from Qatar Airways gives us a perfect look at what I'm talking about. You will have suddenly a different load to your hamstrings and your calves, the back of your legs, why is that worth mentioning? Well, it just can often set off those spasms, that strain. Maybe not now, but you load up, you feel it later.
Maybe not now.
God, they did glide it though. Yeah, sorry.
Maybe not now, but maybe we can get a little bit more insight from Matt, who's at the top of Palani and just saw these gentlemen roll through. Matt, what do you have?
God, they're flying. Why is he pointing? Anyway, I don't know if he's talking. I don't know if we have audio, but that was Gustav Iden and Christian Blumenfeld. When we don't have your audio just yet. No audio. Matt, we didn't have your audio, but we will get what you saw as we watch Max Newman come your way. So get ready. The Aussie is on you. If we've got your audio, let's hit it, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Sorry about that. A lot of action down here. Those two athletes running through really smooth. Right now we have Max Newman running very, very well, chasing those two athletes, Christian Blumenfeld and Gustav Iden. Again, they both look like they're out for a Sunday jog. Really, really, really smooth. And again, if I had to say, Gustav is doing it easier. He just looks light on his feet, kind of what we're used to when he's won the 70.3 Worlds twice. Very, very comfortable, high heel kick, relaxed, composed. Christian looked like he's muscling it a little bit more, which is his running style. But on a course like this, even though it's good conditions, the more you work, the more you're going to pay at the end. So right now it looks like Gustav is being a little bit more economical with the stride. But I will say at the top of Palani, cloud cover, a little bit of a breeze, actually a little bit of a headwind. So Gustav in the front is going to be feeling a little bit cooler, while Christian might get a little bit of respite from running behind Gustav. But Max Newman, as you guys said, running fantastic, really not losing much time to this Norwegian duo.
Last time. That's right. At last time check, Max Newman had only given up 30 seconds, and so he is definitely staying in touch. Would have been able to see them up the Palani climb. And to your point, yes, it does look by our eye as well that Gustav seems to have a better efficiency about him. We were making bets, Matt. We're just going to make you make the pick right now.
Make the pick. Yeah, again, it's Gustav. And as
as you're talking, it's Gustav. It's Gustav. But, guys, the wind is picking up. Like, I'd say it was a breeze before. Now it's pretty strong, actually. Headwind in to the Natural Energy Lab and a tailwind out. Tailwind maybe sounds nice, but we all know when it gets hot, it's not good. But right now, if I was guessing, this is a 10-mile-an-hour wind, so there's something. So running 2 up, there's going to be an advantage to that runner behind. So I wonder if this training duo is going to start taking turns or if Gustav's going to keep pushing the pace, because there will definitely be an advantage for the runner running in second place now with this pretty heavy wind.
Great stuff, Matt. Great stuff. Hey, great stuff there, Matt. I appreciate that. And I'll say this, Leon Chevalier coming your way next. And I want you to kind of get this coming your way. Kienle, Ditlev, O'Donnell, Worf, Skipper. I want you to wait for all those guys. Obviously, wait for whomever you want, but I really would love to see, because that is the battle point there to see if those top 10ers will make themselves top 5ers. Again, we're talking Chevalier in 5th, Kienle in 6th, Ditlev in 7th, O'Donnell 8th, Worf and Skipper for 9-10. Keep an eye for those, my friend, as we come gliding downhill with Max Newman. This man, he is taking a whole bunch of confidence from his approach, right? I have to say, this guy was not in our top 3, top 4, top 5 constant talk. And I think that he could use that to say, what? I don't have the chops. I've done a lot in my career, and I'm ready to put something down on the Big Island. He's doing it. Aid station here, guys.
He's only running a second a mile slower.
Right.
So it's not like he's hemorrhaging time. One of the benefits of entering into an aid station by yourself is you don't, if the volunteer, who are phenomenal, by the way, each and every volunteer who donates their time and energy and passion to help all the athletes from the pros to the age groupers, can't thank them enough. But when you run in with a group, sometimes the resource that you're seeking out disappears right in front of you.
There you go.
Right.
And then you're like, I really wanted Coke. That Coke is gone, and Coke only hits you once, and then you got to wait another 3.5 miles till you get what you want. And so you might see some jockeying for position as we enter into the next aid station. So that's a benefit for Max as he enters into this. Maybe a little fly got to Gustav there. As Max enters into this next aid station, he can get what he wants at his own pace and his own rhythm, come out of it, and keep the tractor beam fully engaged onto the heels of Christian Blumenfeld. So he knows, like, I've got 18% to play with.
My brain actually stopped hearing anything and was just thinking about a 240 per K on 3 times in a row without stopping. So it is great. I love it. I love the perspective, Andy, and the numbers there. Great insight and true. So we always talked about this when some of these athletes change from the short course preparation to the long course. By the way, I just remember when Blumenfeld ran away with that long sprint at the Olympics, I remember watching that and him taking off so early and holding this grinder of a diesel sprint, right? That by Alex Lee, who has the top end, he took off so early. And they were talking about his training on that coverage. This guy trains like a half Ironman or an Ironman athlete. And he was winning the Olympics. So he already had that depth, that strength. To me, it's like, holy smokes, that explains a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, so if we get some of that insight that we have to their training, and we see that Sam Laidlow has 3 minutes up on him, what kind of training is he doing out there?
He's 100%. That is a great point. And watching the way that you have to prepare for this event, to be able to go 4:04 and have that be
controlled.
Exactly. Have that be an effort that leaves you with plenty to run this fast.
He's not sitting on the side of the road at this point.
He's training a lot. But let's just take a second to compliment the color choice here of the socks and the shoes of Christian Blumenfeld. I can't even, they're moving too fast for me to see, but the socks, I mean, just a little bit. You've got to give him some props for that.
Yeah, it looks like Gustav's well coordinated all throughout.
That's true. He's got a little bit more of a Norwegian color scheme with the flash of green. I'm sure there's some World Championship stripes on every leg on that. But here we are, back to another guy we got to give a lot of praise to. Aussies around the world. When we talked about it earlier this morning, or maybe that was Thursday, Dee and I were talking about the reign of various regions and countries. And Australia came in here with Craig Alexander and Chris McCormack and Pete Jacobs, and they took dominance in those years. And we haven't really seen an Aussie here up at the front of the Ironman World Championship for a little while now. Max Newman is doing that, flying that Aussie flag proudly for his nation, and really just, I think he's going to be still inside this top 5 when we come to the finish line.
Max Newman, he may be losing a little bit of time, but if you look at the average pace, he's running 6-minute miles, 6.00 minute miles through the halfway mark. So it's not that the gap is opening up because he's faltering. It's because the pace is that rich. So when we talk about that sub 240 marathon, it's not just going to be done by one person, or not the case. It is way farther than it looks.
But I'm talking about 5 minutes in terms of Magnus Ditlev standing on the side of the road for 5 minutes with the penalty on the bike and the what if, because if it hadn't been for that 5 minutes, Magnus is up with Max Newman in shot. Yes, that was my point. Sorry, I wasn't more clear.
It wasn't picking up what you were putting down, but that sure sounds dicey.
I mean, that to me is the heartbreaking part of it,
way
right?
the cookie
5
crumbles,
minutes,
right?
5 minutes, yep.
Coulda, shoulda,
Yeah,
woulda. But we
no
got now
doubt.
is this man, Sam Laidlow, who for 6 hours and 46 minutes, with exception of a couple seconds here and there, has been in the lead of this race.
Yes, he has.
He surrendered it just a couple times, and he has been just out there gamely fighting, loving every minute of it.
Stone Cold Killer face, like he's giving away nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. And he's just, he hasn't shown a single deterioration. I shouldn't say single. He's shown very little deterioration. When we did see the chink in the armor, he smoothed it out, and he's back to strong. Look at that shot. The French flag showing us who we're seeing here on camera. I think all around Europe, we're getting people screaming for this guy. But let's get down to that turnaround with Matt Lieto.
At this point, he is doing absolutely everything he can, and what the others are doing is almost irrelevant to his cause at the moment.
And I also think he didn't look. I think right now he's doing an incredible race. He's just locked in. This is a tiny glance to the right, but like, look, radar is what's happened here. He is locked in. He's been 6:15 to 6:22 pretty much all day. Not only does that translate to a PR on the distance, but it translates to enough for him to stay in front. These guys are coming. Eden and Blumenfeld are coming. Look at that. Eden has dropped Blumenfeld. Our last split shows right here. That's the difference. 38 seconds.
If that split can be trusted, the reason we had Christian Blumenfeld alone in our screen was the opposite of what you thought.
Yep.
It is, we thought, oh, Christian might be breaking away. Oh, no, it's Gustav.
Well, I thought there was just separation. I didn't say who went left who.
Oh, I thought it was Christian up the road, but it looks like it was Gustav up the road.
He's made his break. He said he doesn't know what surprise I have for 5 miles to go. Guess what? About 8.5 miles to go is 7.5 now. Is when he decided to surprise. And this is the story. Eden may well have done that math that we keep talking about. He knows that it's no longer acceptable to only gain 4 seconds a mile. He needs 20 seconds per mile. And this man is on his heels. 3rd place, Christian Blumenfeld. 1st place, Sam Laidlow. And that wild card, Gustav Eden in the middle trying to mix it up.
And then Max Newman, is this a true falter by Christian Blumenfeld? Are we going to see him dig out of this hole? Could just be a sticky spot, which you go the length, you go the distance. We're almost 7 hours into this. This could just be a sticky spot, and he is so gritty that we're going to see a fight back. I'm planning on him to claw back some time just because of his pedigree and his grit.
I see he's looking back. He's looking over his shoulder to see where Max Newman is. I think that's a decisive move by Gustav Eden. He's just looked too relaxed all day.
No, I agree. I'm here. Look, this is the thing. I've already jumped ship. Christian Blumenfeld, 3rd place.
Oh, wow.
I'm with
That
Eden.
didn't take
no,
much.
I doesn't. I fly with
soft, Michael.
I fly with the wind. Here's the thing. I don't have any problem admitting when I was wrong. Laid low is now what I'm focusing on. How long until Eden catches him? Because this is the difference here. The camaraderie's done. Eden was saving. Blumenfeld may have been. But Eden has gone. He has dropped the hammer. I think the next split, look, he's
he
checking splits.
checked again.
This
He's
guy
calm.
he's ready to go. And I think the next split is going to be a minute. And when we see that, it's just going to be a matter of time before Eden kind of rises up. Look, I'm not
away.
I'm not
Look at
worried.
this camera work.
And I'm not worried about Blumenfeld. He's looking for Max Newman. But the thing is, this is a guy that came here as a prohibitive favorite. He's going to fight for that podium finish. It is going to be on.
But you, as a prohibitive favorite, there's weight to that. So you're carrying something on your shoulders, whether you acknowledge it or not. There's a weight to it. And then,
okay, third place back in 2019, a couple of years of pandemic, a couple of injuries, and here he is getting to find that top 5 as we watch what is now what we talked about. 59 seconds to go. Eden is rolling.
59 seconds and less than
5.4 miles.
Yep, I was gonna say less than 10K to go.
So 5.4 miles, you just run the math again there, and we can say that's you're gonna do this 300, right? We've got basically, he's got nothing, right? He's basically got to come in here and go 12 seconds per mile faster. Let's put it that way. 60 seconds divided by 5, 12 seconds per mile. He's doing it. He's gonna roll through. Here's what I want to see with this guy who's got so much grit, so much determination, so much everything. He's going to fight if he gets caught.
What I'm looking at now is the gap Blumenfeld to Newman. That is the closest that gap has ever been. So it looks like Newman is closing down Blumenfeld a little bit as well.
It's a minute 3. So possibly same 12-second-ish margin that he's going to have to close.
Well,
Blumenfeld's going to pull that out, but Newman, man, I don't know. This is incredible, Andy.
So when you talk about running and you talk about marathon running, there's usually, you get one reaction and you get one action. And with Ironman running, we are taking it to the next level. So just because we're 7 hours and 10 minutes into the day, as a runner, you still get one card to play for your action card and one for your reaction.
Oh, there it is.
What have we seen from Sam, and have we seen the true action card from Gustav?
I think we've seen the action card on Sam Laidlow. I think we saw that at about mile 60 of the bike. And I think now his action card is played, but on the marathon, it's just absolute strength and resilience.
But he gets a reaction card, though.
For sure, and we're going to see it. I think he's going to play it, and I think it's just going to be a small... It's going to be a 2 relative to an ace.
I don't think you have a reaction card when going toe-to-toe with Gustav Eden.
You do. You do. It's called, here, I've got an ace and you've got a 2.
Yeah.
Because you still react. It's just that it's crushed.
It's when you give him a pat on the back and say, well played, I'll see you at the finish line.
I know Gustav prides himself on his sportsmanship. Are we going to see any either interaction, thumbs up,
Yeah, he'll get...
Oh, there it is, full jug of ice right on the dome. I love it.
He's gonna give a little oomph, because guess what? Right now,
stand by.
He is on the moment that everyone here said is going to happen. The Norwegian's going to get in the front of the race. He's on his moment. He'll do something. Good job, mate. Something as he runs by. He doesn't have to play a game because, as Didi said,
all right,
reaction could be too little.
This action shot, you can see Sam Laidlow's footprints because of the squish, because of the water that was in him. And how much you can see as he leaves the trail of water in his shoes, how much...
Have they evaporated by the time Eden gets to him?
They have not evaporated. Eden is eating it up. He's going to get to fresh tracks, and he knows my stride is longer than this stride that I'm seeing. It's only a matter of, when I eat you up, not if I'm going to eat you up.
You guys know stuff doesn't evaporate in Hawaii, right? It just, that water stays there forever. These
23 seconds last check, less than 5 miles to go now.
So, okay, yeah. So now you run that number and suddenly it got chopped. So if you got 23 seconds and 5 miles, wow, we're really down to very minimal difference per mile he has to take. But it's going to be fun, and I do believe there will be an attempt with Sam Laidlow to latch on, because he doesn't know how far back Blumenfeld is. He doesn't know what's going down. When this train comes through, jump on for a little bit, and then...
The reaction card.
And when you get thrown off the back of the train, maybe you gain a couple seconds.
Yeah, you're seeing Gustav here with... this is a 2:35 pace. This is a 2:34 pace that Gustav is running right now. And maybe Max is able to eat into Christian. Is he starting to close the gap? Let's ask Matt Lieto. Matt,
We're just going to hold here because the thing that we don't want to miss is this pass.
Okay,
so
sorry about that.
As soon as we get this pass, we want to see what's going on. And if Newman's about to pass, Blumenfeld will go back. But right here, we've got to see this, I think, because this is what we've been sitting here poised for now 7 hours and 13 minutes.
Check.
Gustav Eden is running exceptionally well. Sam Laidlow running exceptionally
well.
Running for his life, but I just, you feel for him. He's done everything possible.
He's
but
running a 2:44 marathon.
He's having the day of his life. He's just getting beat by a faster athlete on the day. But Sam Laidlow has literally laid it all out there today, and what a performance. But I think from the beginning, we've seen this coming, and what a battle. For it to take this long, Sam Laidlow has to be, it's going to be slightly bittersweet to have imagined it, envisioned it, to have gotten this close to it, to have it taken all away, but he's still going to find himself on the podium at the Ironman World Championship.
Look at these split differentials here, though. Gustav Eden just put 50 seconds per mile on Laidlow per mile in that last segment. Blumenfeld and Newman, on the other hand, there's an 8-second difference per mile in favor of Newman. This is the overhead shot. Thank you so much, Qatar Airways, for giving us a look from above as we see Sam Laidlow in front of Gustav Eden. Great stuff here. The first lead change since I cannot remember when, but it was definitely back around Javi. And I'll say this, what a fight for the 23-year-old from France. He is going to...
Say that again, 23 years old. We used to talk about, having to have experience at Ironman, and these young athletes, you have to wait until your late 20s, your early to mid 30s to be good at Ironman. And we have a 23-year-old and a 25-year-old right now.
That's 2 seconds. That's what 2 seconds looks like right there. That's going to evaporate quite quick, despite what the water that stays in Hawaii. This one's evaporated. That lead is now
22
Gustav
miles
Eden.
into this Hoka Run course. Gustav Eden, a pat on the back, a thumbs up, and a high five. Talk about sportsmanship, mutual respect handed back and forth here on the Queen Ka'ahumanu Highway. Gustav Eden, ladies and gentlemen, is now in control of this race. Sam Laidlow,
trying to go
his
with him.
shadow
Yeah.
with every step. But look at the grimace. Look at the
there it
grit.
is.
And there, the gap. That pace is too much. Eden will ride out this pass for a little bit longer because here's the story. Course record is going down. Will the course run record go down? Most likely.
We knew that sportsmanship was going to show, and then that reaction card played. Gustav Eden got the goods today. Too much pace in that moment.
I think if you're Sam Laidlow, you're still saying to yourself, you envisioned it, you dreamed it. Could I be Ironman World Champion today? But I think he's still got to be out of his tree, like, look at me. Look at what I'm doing right now.
We talked about this. His family is in this sport. He's been watching this sport since he was a little kid. He knows every bit of the magnitude here. And here's his story. 23, he's got 15, 20 years.
25 years.
At the top, if he wants to. Like, at the top. So we can watch this go. He didn't spend time developing as a short course athlete. He's gone right to the front of Ironman. And it's super cool. Let's get back to the Norwegian, Didi. Let's get back to Gustav Eden.
He's just looked so good all day. He never looked like he was under stress. That's all the way back to the bike where he was so patient, went to the front a little bit, but was so smart, so savvy. And the opening stages of this Hoka Run course, he just looked too controlled. He absolutely looked too controlled. But when he opened it up and laid it down, man, did he just take off.
Okay, Matt Lieto, we definitely have had a change up here at the front. Eden in front of Laidlow. You are with Newman. Is he going to catch Blumenfeld? Matt, what have you got out on the highway?
First, Michael, I'd like to say I was right. You were wrong. And we can quickly move on past that. But no, we're with Max Newman, and he is running really, really smooth. And he can see Christian Blumenfeld in his sights. And Christian had to have that moment where he kind of regrouped himself after trying to stay with Gustav and obviously not being able to. Now he's like, okay, I got this podium. Laidlow's still up there. It's possible that they can bring him back, but he needs to maintain this gap over Max Newman that has never really gotten much over a minute. But what's in the favor of Max, and I didn't see Christian go through this last aid station, but Max is running with the bottle. He stopped, filled that bottle with ice and ice water, grabbed 2 buckets of ice water and poured them over his head, not in like a way of panic that he was already hot, and it was done just like he was doing maintenance, and he knew that he needs to cool himself down if he's going to open the throttle here. And guys, I know it's the last check we had was about 57 seconds, but it does look
9 or 340K. But folks, look ahead. See that flashing red light at the stoplight? That is Palani Drive. When he hits Palani, it's a hard right, and it is going to go a little bit, by my estimation, quiet through all the noise, because people are going to be losing their bananas when he runs down that hill, and he is going to receive every bit of it by way of sort of a spiritual flow. It is crazy how good it feels to run down Palani, especially, I'd guess, in the lead of this race. Come on now. Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful stuff indeed. As you go down Palani, that is the 25-mile marker, about halfway down the hill. So just because you're screaming down, and you can actually kind of see the finish line, but you have to make that left-hand turn. So there's the 25-mile marker.
You could see where the finish line is, but due to the nature of this, you can't see where it is fully, because what you're going to do is you're going to turn left, as you're saying, Andy, at the base, go on the Kuakini and do a pretty long mile. It's a 1.2 miles from here, but it's going to feel like a long ways when the quads are screaming. Gustav Eden still tending to business, getting all that fluid at the aid station here, just looking absolutely rock solid. This is his race. The question is, does it then go to Sam Laidlow and Christian Blumenfeld? Didi, double nothing on our bet?
I'm gonna cheer for Laidlow. He's done all of this work to hold on to second. I mean, I would love to see something miraculous from Christian Blumenfeld, because it would be otherworldly for him to put in that kind of a sprint in the final mile of this VinFast Ironman World Championship. But I've got to cheer for Sam Laidlow. He's done so much, been so brave and bold throughout this entire course, doing it his way and unapologetically saying to the Norwegians, yeah, I don't care what the predictions were. Nobody was talking about me pre-race, and here I am. So I have to cheer for Sam Laidlow to hold on to second.
You know what Sam Laidlow could say? I don't really care about the pre-race press conference or any of that. It's all about the post-race press conference, and he is going to be front and center, seat 2. I think you're right, Didi. Gustav Eden showing us that when you let it all hang out, great things happen. Taking that final left turn before he approaches, that's right, before he approaches Hualalai in the final turn, then onto Ali'i Drive. This man, our soon-to-be VinFast Ironman World Champion.
You know, he had to wait it out. He got sick before the World Championship there in St. George back in May. Was gutted to have to sit that one out, but I think that put an even larger fire in his belly, and here he is today.
Perhaps a blessing. You know, you look at that, and it's hard to ever see this, but now we've got Sam Laidlow. It doesn't look like he's suffering at all. He doesn't even remember the 404 at this point. His quads are rolling with the pain and rolling with the pressure of a downhill on Palani, and some of you guys that have never run that hill are thinking we're overplaying it, but it's no joke here as we look at Blumenfeld dangerously close.
Dangerously close. He's going to make this right-hand turn on Palani and see Sam.
Right.
And then I don't know if they realize how much real estate is left to be played with that mile effort once you get down off of Palani. But one person who does know that he's smelling the finish line is Gustav Eden, going to break the course record.
He's going to go under 740.
Going to break the marathon record.
Yeah.
On pace to run 2:36.
So,
see how much he whoops it up at the finish line after he passes the banyan tree, world famous, on the best finish line that we have in our sport. Maybe in all sports.
I always think back to Dave Scott saying these men should be running 2:36. I can't believe they've not done it yet here in Hawaii. Well, guess what? Looks like you're going to get that call today, Dave, where these men finally deliver on that magic number. I think it'll only be a matter of time here once that little ceiling's been popped, where we start to see the low 230s.
They're so close.
Sam Laidlow is giving it all. He knows, and he understands, too, that a little moment of pain right here is going to translate to a lifetime of I beat Christian Blumenfeld at the Ironman World Championship.
There is still a chance for Blumenfeld. I mean, they are.
For sure.
He can see him. He can hear him. He can hear the crowd, certainly. And to Andy's point, there's still a lot of real estate
He's
left
looking
to play
back.
with.
He's looking back.
No,
and
the race is in front of you, Sam.
No,
he's forward.
I have to say, though, that's a good call right here, because he knows he can't catch Eden. And if he takes just a glimpse over his shoulder to see, this is about a 32-second gap. What do you guys think, guys?
He's gonna
40
be, I
second
think he's
gap.
going to be okay.
He's going to
I
run
think
out
he's
real
gonna- yeah.
He's making me nervous, but I think he's going to be okay.
Christian sure is charging this hill.
Yeah, this is when you have nothing left. That you want to have nothing left when you stop running, and doesn't matter what sort of pain you're in, feet, quads, heck, biceps. I don't care what hurts on you. Earlobes can go through it.
Everything hurts on you at this point.
You just want to go through, and so close, you guys. I mean, literally, we are within the same city block here, a long block along Kuakini. It is going to be no time to celebrate for Sam Laidlow on Elite Drive. Zero chance of properly slowing down and celebrating.
No. I think he'll
Push to
celebrate
the
after
line.
get across the line because he knows the kind of competitor Blumenfeld is. He saw him win an Olympic gold medal, no doubt. He studies the sport, so he knows what's breathing down his neck. He's got to get himself across the line.
The final right turn onto Ali'i Drive. He has made that turn. Gustav Eden, folks, a glance to the right, a wave to the crowd, and this long stretch of glory building for the man.
Oh, he's going to chop more than 10 minutes off of the Ironman world record here. And what a performance that we're seeing as Gustav has the seas parted for him. No one can get in his way as he charges towards the line. I hope he enjoys each and every step because this is a lifetime achievement here. Just what a race.
Absolutely historic, folks, where a man has come in here and he has done an amazing job. Come in and demolish the course record overall, demolish the run course record, and he did so with company for most of the day. But today, it is all about the one Norwegian who came here with 2 Ironman, 70.3 World Championship titles to his credit, and a whole lot of hope that he could drop everyone when it counted. And right now, folks, before we hand it over to Mike Riley, we have to say your 2022 VinFast Ironman World Champion is from Norway, and it is Gustav Eden.
What an epic finish there by Gustav Eden. I don't think the effort has really seeded itself into his muscles because the euphoria of crossing the finish line, grabbed the finishing tape like he owned it, like he knew it was going to be his, wearing that laurel crown that he so rightly earned and deserved. Big hug. Congrats to Gustav Eden for setting a new Ironman course record and a new Ironman course run record to boot.
That's right. So if you look at the numbers, he went from 7:51, he dropped that course record to a crazy 7:40.24, and he took 3 minutes and 30 seconds off of Patrick Longo's run course record. Crazy closeout speed with 2:36.15. Guys, he's got time to finish. Go back and get some more adoration and respect from this incredible crowd in Kona, and then he's going to get to watch Sam Laidlow and Christian Blumenfeld battle it out. Here we go from France, doing the unthinkable, interrupting that Norwegian duo, making it a sandwich. Didi, what have you got?
I will say we doubted him early on the bike. He made his move. He was so aggressive. He did what he had to do. We doubted he'd be able to hold on, but running the marathon of his life, good for second place at the VinFast Ironman World Championship, Sam Laidlow.
The other 26-year-old that won this race. And Mark Allen, let's bring him home. This countryman, what a day he had from France, Sam
24:40. Pretty much spot on. And look at that, Eden giving him all the credit, saying this guy, give it up for this guy, Sam Laidlow. I love that respect because Eden took all the way to mile 23 to get across the line. Andy?
So now we've got one of the pre-race favorites, Christian Blumenfeld, coming down the carpet as for the third place, rounding out the podium. First time around the big island of Hawaii. He too is going to break that old course record and put on what a great show today, leaving everything out there on the line, wears it on his sleeve, proudly coming across in third place, the Vidman Ironman World Championships, Christian Blumenfeld.
That's right, Christian Blumenfeld, 2:39.21 to also break that former course record and run course record and the overall. Top three already still 8 minutes and 8 to 10 minutes below that course record. We talk about records only just to show the magnitude to which these guys race, knowing to see that. And here it is, the stats on the board there, 3 times under the previous record record. 7:40 and 24 for Gustav Eden from Norway. 7:42.24 for Sam Laidlow of France. And of course, third place, Christian Blumenfeld from Norway. What an amazing show. Stay with us.
We can do it. My legs are strong, my feet are fast. You got it? My legs are strong, my feet are fast. Say it. Say it. My legs are strong, my feet are fast. Say it. Come on, say it. You're going to be an Ironman today. Absolutely, Dan. Amazing. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Go on the right side, inspiration on the left side, and now full screen. An incredible race for Joe Skipper here, who came across the line in 5th after being so far out of it all day. Just not out of the race, but so far. And world champ Sebastian Kienle, incredible show of strength and resilience. 7:55.40. Kienle comes across the line in 6th. What an incredible close to the chapter of Kienle and Kona.
Levon Chevalier right behind him.
Neck, yeah.
Norway, Gustav Iden. Giving him the ceremonial lay. Any way you wish. All right. Good. That's a first. Sam Laidlaw took them all and drank them. Yeah.
He's gonna boot.
One more time for Gustav, Sam, and Christian.
where you will hear the voice of Mike Riley call you on an Ironman for the last time at the World Championship. For Didi Griesbauer and Andy Potts, I'm Michael Lovato. I'll encourage you to tune in to Outside TV on Sunday, October 16th, as we bring you Ironman 70.3 Waco. Enjoy these amazing moments and images from the VinFast Ironman World Championship.